Well, welcome back to Ribbon Candy Hooking. I'm Deanna. It's great to see you. Happy not Friday night. It is Saturday night tonight, and thank you for joining me on an odd night. It is our maybe you can guess. It is our Halloween episode. I'm going to give you one guess as to why I was a few minutes late logging on tonight. I have an accessory on that was fairly difficult to clasp.
And so do I.
Surprise guest coming in. I didn't know you had your steampunk stuff with you. She is so cute. She is so cute. Well, now, okay, screw it on my head. Holy, uh-oh. Okay, there's more. There's more. Okay, I honestly didn't know any of this was happening. Let me get out of the way. Come on. You want to come on camera? Before you hurt someone? So, Teddy and Jocelyn, okay, stop. Okay, Teddy and Jocelyn are also here.
Shoving.
Okay.
Okay. You can wear my hat if you want. Let me switch it to the good side.
Whoa. Okay. It's a lot. Okay, Papa, come on. Okay. And then everybody goes away. Everybody.
Except for Mama.
Except for me. You know, my hair looked nice 1 minute ago.
Don't you want to wear this to go with your
I think I might be a little bit warm, but thank you.
There's more.
And my mom's here too. Go ahead.
I don't know what the hell I am.
I think you're a plague doctor.
I'm trying to chisel my glasses.
Oh, cheers, my dears. Cheers, my dears. I think I need my glass.
Everyone in the family.
I think, yeah. What about the dog? Get his costume on.
Oh.
Yeah, don't give it away. Don't give it away. The dog is going to appear in a costume shortly. Okay. Whew, that really was, I feel like I had a lobotomy when she screwed that hat on my head. All right. Cheers, my dears. Happy Friday night. Great to see you. Welcome back to Ribbon Candy Hooking. That all took me by surprise. So tonight, thank you for being with me on this odd night. It is an odd night. Saturday night. We were busy with volunteering at the school and the kids' school party yesterday. So I appreciate you being here tonight because tomorrow night is the second live run of the Design Like Tarot class, and that should be a lot of fun. That should really. Oh, that's really pretty. Gosh, I had this when I was a kid. I had this on my wall for years when I was a kid, unless it was a different one. I think it's probably the same. Oh, I like that. I'm going to stick with that for a while. Oh, wait a minute. What's this? This is like my oxygen cord. Wait a minute. I know that I've gotten older, but not quite. Hold on one second. Let's see. All right. Yeah. Why not? Why not? Oh, you know, one reason why not. You know what? It might work. Oh man, it's gonna be what I've had one glass of wine. I'll tell you, it's not two, but Mom's laughing in the next room. Okay, let's just get this out of the way while we're still whatever. So Buttons the dog is going to be a lobster for Halloween. Should we hold him up a little bit?
Yeah.
He's a good boy. Honestly, we're not torturing him. He's the most spoiled animal in the history of pets. But yeah. He doesn't look as lobstery as, there we go. Oh, there he goes. Oh, there he goes. There's the yummy lobster tail. He does. He doesn't have his hat on, but he doesn't have to wear his hat. I know he's a good boy. He's a delicious boy. Yeah. All right, let's get him out of here. I know. He's so cute.
Right, Buttons.
Oh, Buttons.
Let's take it out.
He's only going to wear it when we go trick-or-treating, you know. He's like the neighbor. He's the neighborhood doll. Everybody loves this animal. All right. Now I'm a little bit rerouted. What's that?
Can I tell them about the lambs? So
Yes.
there's this company called Lamb Chop. They make lambs about this big.
The
for their dog.
lamb chops.
And-
Wait. The lamb chops are those famous lamb chop puppets, right? What were those things called? What was her name? The woman that had that puppet called Lamb Chop. Those were a thing, Joss. Those aren't just a teach. What was that, Mom? Yes, Sherry something.
All right. But
Not Lewis, no.
Buttons had.
Was it Sherry
Buttons'
Lewis?
normal ones, or the normal ones, are like this big. His biggest one was like this big, and his new one is like.
We have about.
It's like a real plush.
Yeah, we have about.
It's bigger than him.
We have about 22 of the Lammies from TJ Maxx, And he's destroyed all of them in different ways, but it's still a fine collection.
And speaking of the puppets,
Yeah.
Buttons absolutely teared one to pieces, or the back to pieces, and took out all the stuffing. So now I can put like all my fingers in all the little holes and make it dance like a puppet.
Excellent news. Excellent news. All right, there we go. Sorry about that. If you're not used to my family, the kids can be a lot. All right, welcome back to Ribbon Candy Hooking. Glasses on, party over. No, party is just beginning, I promise you. Tonight is a night filled with some of the most beautiful rugs I've ever seen. I am very partial to Halloween as a holiday. It is, Christmas is my favorite. Christmas is my favorite. It just lingers, and there's all the music attached to it and all those Hallmark movies and all of that. But Halloween is a lot of fun for sure, isn't it? And we've been having some fun today because this has been the first Saturday, I think the New York Times said 14 weeks that it hasn't rained. It sounds like more. I didn't think it was quite that much, but I'm not going to argue with them. They do some pretty good reporting, I've heard. So so we've been taking advantage of the day a little bit, and we're visiting my mom just for the overnight now. But it's been a slamming weekend, and to conclude what I was saying earlier, thank you for being with me on Saturday. Last night was a busy night at the kids' school for us. It was the annual Halloween party, and it was wonderful. And tomorrow I will be running the Design Like Tarot class live for the second and last time, and it will be recorded for anyone who wants it after that. It'll be recorded, but as far as me running it live and interacting, it was a wonderful class, if I do say so myself, on Wednesday. It was a really fun class. I think very inspirational. Big pull on history and the history of those cards and those images. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot to talk about. And it was kind of a choose your own adventure kind of a class, because you could really go way down to the bone in terms of depth and pulling stuff out for design ideas, or you could stay right on the surface and treat it as like a fourth wall exercise, right? Because there's so much to the tarot. It's just a vehicle for coming up with all kinds of ideas for the people and the archetypes and the stories inside your memory museum. So that's a lot of fun. And then that's Sunday, that's tomorrow night. And then on Monday, I will be with you for the live hook along. It is the Maud Lewis Fluffy hook along, the Pumpkin Fluffy. I will be starting that, I think it's 6 p.m., isn't it, Eastern Standard Time? I'll be starting that then. And I will be hooking it until it's finished. So there's a very good chance I will be on for 3-4 hours even. I don't know. When it's done, it's done. I'm not hooking the background. I'm just hooking the pumpkin. But it should be a lot of fun. And if you're a beginner and you're just coming to the craft, it'll be a great way to jump into rug hooking and see how it's done. I will be hooking the whole piece as opposed to punching it or using other forms. And if you're new, it might be nice to just sit and have it on for company and watch and look up when something resonates or something strikes you as being, oh, I was looking for the answer to that question. I might hear it right now. So it's a good long stretch of time to be together and to be thinking about rug making. So that's coming up on Monday night. And then, of course, the next day is Halloween. This is Halloween. I better not say that, or I'm going to get a copyright stamp on this video. And great to see you. Trick or treat, smell your feet. I would be glad to smell your feet, because it would mean that I was in the same room as you, which I love to be, and I can't wait to be again. Judy, great to see you. There you go. Judy closed up that little rhyme for you. And Melissa, great to see you in Sackville, New Brunswick, breaking into the Halloween chips. Oh, it sounds amazing. There's so much nice Halloween food and so many drinks out there, and the candies. It's just, for grown-ups. For kids, of course, but for grown-ups. Oh, it's been wonderful. And you know what I got in the mail? I don't know if Colleen's on yet. I haven't gone down that far yet. But I ordered, do you remember the last, I think it was gallery night, when I saw this, one of the images was Colleen Tiefenthal's, and it was like a nutcracker, but not a nutcracker, but with a pumpkin head. And I wrote, and I started to get all feverish because I hadn't really reviewed that slide yet. By the way, a huge shout out, thank you to Jane and Shannon for putting this together for me, as usual, compiling what we needed to have the thing ready so that all I had to do was drop the slides in, which means I haven't read the text yet, which is a lot of fun because I like working like that. I like flying by the seat of my pants. It's more exciting for me too. It's more immediate. So a huge thank you, Shannon. You did so much. And we wouldn't have a show if it wasn't for Shannon. We would have either not had a show or I would not have taken my children on the Halloween Express today at the local pumpkin patch, and that would have been a real shame because we've done it every year. So that's how down to the bone I am with time. So I asked Colleen, Colleen, I asked Colleen if she was able to make one of these for me, and she did. I'm going to bring them out of the box and see if there's this, oh my God. See if there, oh, this is called Pirate Boo Tea. Get it? Boo Tea. So let me see. Oh, there he is. So she made this for me. I ordered it that same night. I said, no, seriously, I really need to have one of these. And she said, do you want me to make one? And I said, I do. And here he comes. Here he comes, Pirate Booty. Oh, he is fantastic, Colleen. Oh, look at how well you wrapped him, too. Put my glasses on and see him. Some close-up action here. Oh, my word. Is that ever cute? Is that ever fantastic? Holy mackerel. I love his little... I was wondering what that motion was. I thought it was the dog wagging its tail. It's me breathing on these feathers. That is, yeah, that's going to be a thing tonight. But this is just beautiful. You see the detail in this? So, Colleen, my only question to you now is I'm never content with what I have, am I? Is this a part of a series? And can I get more? Can I get more? Can I get a whole army of them to line the whole vignette behind me when I'm at work? I'm at my mom's right now. And put them all along the shelf. I mean, they're just absolutely beautiful. Even this detail here, like the corrugated felt, right? The pinked felt. Oh, God, it's so pretty. Here, let me see if I can safely. I'm not going to do something. Nope. I'm not going to do something irresponsible. I don't think what, maybe? No. No, I don't trust it. I don't trust it. My mom says, are you hot? Not yet.
Because I can open the window behind you.
Maybe in a little while. We'll see. I'm going to attempt to keep this on and be festive. Thank you. I'm either going to need that window open later or I'm going to have to secretly take my pants off under the table. Let me see if I can do something like that. I don't want to knock them down, but I want them to be in the scene with us tonight. There we go. Huge shout out to Colleen, Beech Nut Studio. You know, she does glorious rugs and patterns and amazing work and paintings, but she also does amazing stuff like this. Let me see if I can leave them there. That seems like a nice addition to the night. So, Anne and Judy, Melissa, Kirsten, great to see you. Happy Saturday. Cheers, my dears. The Saturday before Halloween, it's amazing that it came so fast. It snuck right up on us here. I don't know about you, but it snuck right up on us. Remember what Graham said, Mom? One foot on a banana peel and the other one in the new year?
Absolutely. Once Halloween is here, it's January 1st.
That's right. She said once Halloween is here, it's January 1st. Ain't that the truth? Anita, cheers, my dears. Great to see you. Becky, cheers, my dears. Happy pre-Halloween. It is a lot of fun, isn't it? It's such a silly holiday. It is so much fun, isn't it? And the news has been so bad lately. We're not going to start with that, but everything has been fairly dark, not in a Halloweeny way, in a wacky way. So all these little bits of happiness and joy and celebration, festivity that we can eke out of the holidays, I think we should. I think we should work really hard on that. April, great to see you. Cheers, my dears, in Illinois, in Linda B. Cheers, my dears, in New Jersey, with a beautiful little maple leaf. Diane, great to see you. Cheers to you too. And Joyce, happy Saturday night from Pennsylvania. I have your piece in, of course. It's a gorgeous piece. You too, Ryan. Happy Saturday from rainy North Texas. And happy almost Halloween. Peace and love to you too, my love. Carol, great to see you. Cheers and happy Saturday. Is it really? The first snowfall in central Wisconsin. Oh gosh. Oh gosh. You know, Carol, I took a picture this morning. I woke up in the dark because I was because of the party yesterday. I was expecting that group of people, the PTA, right? This is why I don't get involved in groups, because it's a group, and it's as soon as you start to participate and open the door with giving that inch, it's forget it. So I was expecting them back at some point this morning with all of the carnival games that they borrowed last night, and I woke up super crazy early. to put the show together. Shannon and Jane put it together, but I need to actually put it into the program, whatever it's called, the software, the whatever. And that was tricky. But in the dark, I had a sad moment. Let me see if I can show you. It wasn't sad in the great scheme of things, but I meant to send this to you earlier, my friends in Door County, my Wisconsin Harvest Blend coffee. I used the last of it this morning, and I thought, oh, it's time for another trip to Wisconsin. It's all over because it's been such a pleasure. I had a bunch of coffees that I picked up while I was there. The Door County cherry and all that, and this was my harvest blend. I had a whole bunch. Most of them had like a booze aspect to them, like the smell of bourbon or something like that. They were all so rich and fantastic and seasonal. And now they're gone. I'm going to have to see what else is around here, but I'm sure there'll be something great. Linda H. Cheers, my dears in Massachusetts. Great to see you, and Chrissy. So excited for Halloween cocktail night. Me too. I have to say, I think this is my favorite one of the year, just because it's not just gallery night. We're not just celebrating your great work, but it's got this Halloween twist, which is just extra fun, right? There is like a level of expectation because you know that we're going to be looking at images that have to do with the holiday, but at the same time, there's such variety in tonight's show. It really is crazy. It's going to be a lot of fun. Shanita, great to see you. Love to see you too. I'm so glad that you're there. And April said hello to Joss and Teddy. All of the silliness. Suze, hello in Kansas. I'm sorry I missed part of the thread. Suze, great to see you. Barbara, great to see you. Happy Halloween. And Mom in the next room, whoop, whoop. Happy Halloween. Lori, great to see you. Hello, spooky Halloween. And Judy says, I hope everyone is enjoying that big full moon leading up to Halloween. It is so beautiful seeing the last few nights, seeing that moon out there. It is just gorgeous. It's like, you know, what is the super moon? I don't know anything about moons other than once in a while someone will say something about the harvest moon or the blood moon or the super moon or something. And I think, ooh, that sounds like so romantic and pretty, but I don't actually know what any of it means. And I'm thinking about pieces of art, for example, by Maxfield Parrish, and there's always a giant moon in the composition, and I'm thinking, does that ever happen? Because this moon is about like the biggest moon that I've seen. It's been right there for a few nights, and it is so beautiful. It's so mysterious, and it's so nice and bright out at night too. That's another nice twist. I am in the spirit, Barbara. I am really in the spirit. I was all dressed up last night too. I had the same top on and I had a corset on. Joss also had a corset on. We had the big tulle skirts on, and it was a lot of fun at the party. But oh God, it was so hot. It was so hot. It was crazy. A lot of fun was had by all, and by all I mean the kids. But that's the point, isn't it? It was at their school. It was a lot of fun, but we were super dressed up. So I'm just a little dressed up tonight. But yeah, we're going to be properly dressed up on Tuesday night to be sure. Judy says, I hope everyone. Yep. And Barbara and Suze and let me just catch up and make sure I know all my buddies who are here. Catherine, great to see you. Happy Halloween in Missouri. Melanie, happy Halloween. Great to see you. I know. Little old Buttons, huh? He is too cute. Thank you, and Sherry Lewis. We got there. We got there in the end. That's weird, isn't it? That it comes together. Because I think did I say Lewis in the end? I was thinking Juliette Lewis. That must be a different actor or something. Is that the girl who was in the Vacation movies? I'm always crossing wires. It's always like that. Thank you, Shannon and Jane. Thank you so much for saying so. Well done, Colleen. And Cat's Gallery, great to see you. You're here in Jerome, Arizona for Halloween. Ooh, exciting. How fun is that? Because you're normally in California, right? That is fun. A little bit of a road trip. It's always time to visit Wisconsin. Yeah, absolutely it is. And sadly, like one of my friends, because one of the high schools I went to was in Florida for, I guess that was junior year. One of my friends was from Wisconsin, and he had just moved there too. And I was just writing with him before the show. I forget what part of Wisconsin he's from. He's not the area where I was, but his dad just passed away, I think yesterday. So we were writing back and forth a little bit, and I thought, lots of Wisconsin news today. Like that was bad, and the coffee was bad. But then hearing from my friends, that's good. So you take the good with the bad, right? That said, Cat's Gallery Jerome is amazingly cool. Hope you see some ghosts. Oh, is that part of Arizona known to be like a spooky haunted area? Are there lots of ghost stories coming out of there? I don't know anything about that part of the country. I have to say, I've never been to Arizona. I would love to go. Check it out when it's not warm, probably right now. So we should really dig in because it is a very full night of some absolutely beautiful rugs. And in case you haven't been with us in the last few days, or in case you're joining us for the first time on this show, particularly on weekend nights when we do our evening shows, we are usually looking at, on gallery nights for sure, we're looking at the work of other people in our group and friends and viewers and anybody who has sent something in. We have tried to put all of it into the show. So I go through fairly quickly, but we are looking for, we're just looking to look at all of your respective projects and give great positive feedback on everything and just really bask in the inspiration of the great work that it is, but also just the privilege of looking at other people's work and getting ideas from it, maybe getting some answers, figuring some stuff out just by looking, right? Pooling information. That's what we do. So that's what we're doing tonight, except tonight it's a Halloween episode. So all of the imagery that we look at, all of the rugs and projects that we're looking at have a Halloween theme tonight, as opposed to just a general theme. And if you sent me an email with some things that have a general theme, or a mixed email that had a few Halloween images and then some other stuff, just know that I saved the other stuff, right, for the next gallery night. It's not going to fall by the wayside. It's going to be there next time we have a gallery night. So I kept everything, but I only put Halloween images into tonight's show. Goretti, great to see you. Spooky times, right? Oh, Carol says an artsy ghost town with some great restaurants. Whoa, that sounds amazing. Gosh, that sounds amazing. Cat's Gallery, is that why you're there? Because it's a spooky place? Is it a destination that people know and say, oh, let's go there for Halloween? Gosh, that sounds like it's got everything at this for this time of year. Debbie, great to see you. Happy almost Halloween from upstate New York. You just went out to look at the moon and a bat flew out from the bush next to the house. Needless to say, it was a quick look. That got you right back inside, I bet. Oh, copper mining and ghost stories. Oh my God. Collect some of these ghost stories, will you? Collect some of these ghost stories. You know, I was thinking, and I was saying to Melissa a little bit, some of my favorite patterns that I've worked on that I haven't had a lot of time to work on this year. And last year I thought next year I'll work on more stuff. Every year I think next year I'll work on more stuff. And it's always busy, which is great because I have a business, right? So it's the nature of the thing, but I haven't worked on a lot of my projects this year, and I have a lot of half-finished projects like the Fox Sisters, the fake mediums, right? The 19th century story from I think New York State, and Lizzie Borden, of course, she's been almost done for 3 years, and I have a few other sketches of like famous crime stories and murderesses, particularly murderesses. I just find it more interesting when women get involved in murder, you know. And yeah, and I was just thinking how neat it would be, maybe for a future project or just something to think about and start compiling, how much fun it would be to try to pull these kinds of, not necessarily contemporary, because contemporary horror stories, as we know from This Week in Maine, are not cozy at all. Things that happened in the distant past maybe are also awful and creepy and horrible, but they have a shape, right? Because it was so long ago. So I was just thinking it would really be fun to start compiling ghost stories and unsolved stories and mysteries and from all of the different states, right? Because there's probably a bunch of characters and patterns that would be so much fun to illustrate as a project. You see where I'm going with that? I've been thinking about that for a while actually, so I do want to start hearing ghost stories and collecting them. If you have anything like that for me, please send it to me in an email to ribboncandyhooking@gmail.com, because I'll put it into my sort of bag of thoughts that I pull out at intervals and say, okay, you know what I'm going to work on right now? Because that is a big overarching thing for me, is teasing out local stories from all of the states, right? And also people watching from other countries. I definitely want to do that. And oh, you're touching base with each other to see where everybody's at. That's always a good thing to do. I hope this guy is steady. Is he? Yeah, I think he's steady. I think we can start. So let's start. Let's start looking at our fabulous rugs for October 2023. Oh, it's unbelievable, isn't it? Let me get an image up and I'm going to have a quick little swig of my water instead of my wine. Here's the first image for you to look at. This was sent in, the email said Windy Woods, Pennsylvania, Stone Hill. It didn't actually have a name, so I can't attribute a name. but a series of friendly emails with a bunch of, I think I have 4 images to show from the same person, no 3, and they are all gorgeous. Let me just take a quick sip. Oh, I'm thirsty. So Windy Woods, Pennsylvania, and the message said, it said from Stone, nope, that was a typo, sorry. Stone Hill, and again, Pennsylvania, Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. And the message said, I do 13-inch squares, because there's going to be 3 of them I'm going to show you. And I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with them all. They are just big enough so that I don't get bored. Worsted wool on monk's cloth. Haven't had this much fun in a long time. Well, that is a sentiment that I like to read. And I think it's an interesting thing to say, I like to do 13-inch squares. That's the size for me. It's not too big. It's not too small. It's all 3 bears over here. I know what I like. 13 inches. This is the right size. I don't get bored. I think that's great to know about yourself. That's absolutely fantastic, and I agree with that. I tend to shut off on small pieces that are sample pieces at 12 or 13 myself. So I totally get where you're coming from. This is just such a charming piece. Talk about a beautiful big full moon. We've got the animals out there, right, out standing on top of this adorable pumpkin with beautiful pronounced ribs, lovely silhouetted trees. Look at that wild sky in the background. It's just a really, really lovely night scene. Lots of levels of color. My mom says, love the round pumpkin and the round moon with the radiating, varied blue line around it. Animals enjoying and sharing. It's a very peaceable kingdom kind of a sentiment, isn't it? They're sharing an acorn. It's real. I haven't seen a composition like this. I've seen animals on pumpkins, but I haven't seen 2 animals like this where part of the story is the relationship between the 2 animals. It really is a great storytelling piece. It's really beautiful. I love the very lime, very sort of wick and alive green stem coming out of the pumpkin, as well as the fallen red leaf on the ground, right? That's like represents 2 things that are happening. It's just a beautiful piece, the green going into the brown, going into the blue. It's a lot happening for a small piece, and it's really well done. This is another piece sent in from Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, Windy Woods, Stone Hill. Another beautiful piece. And I think this is the same pumpkin. So this is just a different composition. I'm thinking to me, this looks like a chihuahua. I think it must be a chihuahua. Cute little creature on top of the pumpkin, sweet little face, really direct stare. Isn't that funny? Sometimes you feel confronted when you look at art and it's looking back at you, but in this case, it is very benign. This is not a dangerous looking little character at all. Same sort of techniques happening in the background, same things that are making sense to me too. It's the same sized piece. It looks like we're talking about hooking with yarn in all of these pieces, right? Because hooking, I mean, it could be punched. We could be talking about punching. It might be punching actually. Worsted wool on monk's cloth. It doesn't say whether it is worsted wool, so that is yarn, all on monks. It doesn't say whether it's hooked or punched. Gosh, I would venture to say it's punched. I'm just looking at the breakdown of the shapes. It would be very hard to know without looking at the back of it, but my guess would be punched, and they are just beautiful. I am developing rather quickly a real preference for hooking with yarn over wool strips. I have to say, I don't know where that's coming from, but when I see these finished yarn pieces, they really are, it's just a different look. It's more of like a tapestry look to me. Because we're not getting really pronounced shapes coming up from wool strips. I like everything. What am I saying? I like everything. But it's the same kinds of techniques or devices happening with this composition as with the first. We have that pumpkin, right, that's serving as kind of a platform, and then the character that is on top of the pumpkin, or characters plural, that's the main story, right? That's the main player. But again, the sort of background is framed with things that are of different interest. So in this case, kind of a creeping Jacobean style vine, right, with some flowering, looks like red rosy type things and some pretty leaves. Everything very whimsical, right, very magical looking and not real plants. And another case of looking at many shelves of color running up in the background. It's always nice to see that. It's a very good device when you have one main motif, which in this case is the dog on the pumpkin. It's nice to break up the background, doing interesting things like adding shelves of color. And sometimes it becomes a question of, what would the context be? Well, in this case, it's like the ground giving way into the night, and it makes perfect sense that the colors would change, right, as you get up in the composition. Another really beautiful piece. And the third one from Gettysburg and from the same maker, Windy Woods, Pennsylvania, Stonehill. Absolutely beautiful piece. This is my favorite piece, I have to say. I'm assuming again that this is 13-inch square, but this is for me a really remarkable piece. I'm absolutely in love with this piece. This is a great example of using real leaves from outside or just sketching leaves onto a composition. It's a very simple composition, right? Very simple, but what Ryan just said, the colors. It's the colors, isn't it? Because we're looking at a lot of neutrals in the background, very light grays, medium grays, black, olive green, right? Olive green, army green, those function as neutrals also. And we are seeing so much color in the leaves. The breakdown of the leaves, it's very, very exciting. You would think with a composition like this, it would be really hard to bring so much sort of gaiety and color, energy to a composition that is just a couple of branches of leaves. But it really is extraordinary. And Greti, you're right. The background is extraordinary. It is fairly monochromatic, and it still has a lot of color change, and it has a lot of shift in it. It also looks like some of the leaves and stems are silhouetted a little bit, even echoing some of the pinky colors and purpley colors in the leaves seem to be echoed onto the background. It's an extraordinary piece. The framework on it is a little bit lacy, but it's also a little bit of a hit or miss feel. It does have, the background has a great 19th century feel to it, but the leaves themselves are super contemporary, super, super colorful. Speaking of colorful, I forgot to say what my mom showed me just as I was about to sit down. She picked up a couple calendars on Amazon, right, Mom? And one of them is one of our favorites, David Galshu, or Galshut. I think most people say. I just can't. It just doesn't sound right to me. I'll wait for him to tell me how to say his name, right? But it's one of these beautiful calendars, 2024 for Amazon. Lots of gorgeous images. If you like color, right? We're talking about color. Here's some color. This is a great thing that's available on Amazon. And then she got this one too that is just so pretty. Feathered Friends by Janine Zlatkis. Really beautiful. More of a folky one, you know. But both of these are super sweet spot calendars for inspiration, right? Inspiration is everywhere. Those are both on Amazon. I really, really like those. Really like those. But yeah, color. This piece is all about color. Where it is and where it isn't. And it is striking and theatrical. And it is super, super, super successful. Danny, good to see you. It looks like a puddle on the sidewalk reflecting the sky. It absolutely could be. That's a great translation for this because you see it too, right? You see that there's some kind of a reflection happening in that lightest gray value. And Linda says, whoever is the maker is in Gettysburg. So glad you sent your photos in for the show. The work is absolutely terrific. It's just fantastic. It's great work. And, you know, sometimes when you're working on a series, like the message said, haven't had this much fun in a long time. Sometimes when you're working on a series, you think about to make something a series, what does it have to have in common? Does it have to have a common theme? Does it have to have a common color plan or palette? No. Does it have to have an ongoing story or a subject that kind of arches the whole thing over? No, it doesn't. I mean, you could have a series that the only thing that the pieces have in common is the size, 13-inch square, and you've got yourself going. And once you jump on that crazy carousel and you get going, you're in such a good place and a happy place, right? And yeah, and she said, I'm assuming it's that she haven't had this much fun in a long time. That is really good, and you can tell too because they're such successful pieces. I'm not looking at these pieces and thinking, oh man, I can feel the struggle. Not at all. They're all three really joyful pieces. Really well done. I hope that you'll send more work in because these were really surprising and exciting to open and to enjoy. Mandy, you finished Halloween Circus, and we saw you working on this. You said it was quite challenging, but also lots of fun. It is absolutely beautiful. I bet it was challenging. If you remember this piece, I have it at the studio, and as you know, I'm not at the studio. I have it at the studio, And it started life as a painted needlepoint because I was thinking of, it was before, I had the ribbon candy hooking and I was trying to do a business and all of that. And, I was working on different crafts that I'd always worked on, and I was a big needle pointer. And I painted a bunch of canvases for Halloween, and this was one of them. And more recently, I found this canvas, and it was beautifully painted. Um, I painted it myself, so maybe I shouldn't say that, but I thought it was very colorful and a great composition. But to translate it to rug hooking is a bit tricky. And I thought, Mandy, that you might break down, because it does have a checkerboard, it does have the bones and the candy corns, it does have all of that elaborate patterning built into the piece. But as you know, with needlepoint, you can get away with some very, very fine details. Rug hooking, it can be a little bit harder, but Mandy is one of our Canadian friends who hooks with yarn, as most Canadians really do. So you can see with yarn, and I think a lot of this is the 2-ply and some 3-ply, Briggs and Little, you can get away with doing a lot of fine detail. You can get away with outlining. I think one of the best things to remember when you're doing outline, two things, and they're both present in this piece. One of them is that you don't have to outline everything. And having said that, you don't have to outline everything in the same color. So you see a lot of stuff outlined in black, but you see the checkerboard outlined in the yellow, like the corner color, and you see the veins of the leaves done more in a white or a gray color. So you don't have to always outline, and you don't have to outline in the same color. You also don't have to overthink or over worry whether your outlining is super graphic and bold, right? Because I feel like this is the style I want, contrast, right? This is the style I really love. Unless I'm doing something that I really mean to sound like a Lichtenstein or something very, very graphic, I really don't want really thick lines or something that looks like Tiffany stained glass. I like it when it looks like this. I think a lot of people are put off by busy compositions because they know that they will need to outline, and they're just afraid as they outline that they're not getting perfect lines. It's not about that, is it? It's just about defining shapes and getting and getting a good sort of contour and contrast. Mandy really is the expert at this. She's doing a bunch of Halloween stuff, and I'm sending some more stuff up because Mandy can do stuff that I simply can't. And part of it is, well, all of it is talent, and then a small part of it is just being so experienced with the yarn and just that innate talent, because I would struggle with this piece too. It's just a gorgeous piece. So Molly, Spot, and Mandy, thank you so much for finishing this. No rush on the witch's boots. I'm going to send some more stuff your way. I just want to remind you that the hair is done Waldoboro style. If you remember that from a past episode. Yeah, it is, Anne. It's called Halloween Circus. It's on ribbon candy hooking. It might even be in the body of this email. It might be. It was before, if it's still there. But it's, yeah. And it can be done larger too. I should offer it larger too. I forget what size this was. But you can see it obviously can be done because Mandy's done it perfectly. But it is a busy composition. And it is fun though, isn't it? It really is fun. I don't think I had any color cues as far as planning. I don't know that on the website, I don't know that the needlepoint that I painted, the canvas is present. I think it's just a black and white line drawing. So this is all Mandy. Super, super, super well done. It's absolutely phenomenal. Let's look at a couple of close-ups before we move too far away. You can see the hair is done a little bit longer, right? So it has more height. Oh, I see some sparkle in there. Do you see some sparkle in the blue hat, the bodice, the cuff of the costume? I'm just looking at this and remembering drawing it. I actually drew it on my mother's table downstairs where we are here tonight. And I remember patterning it and doing the different faces and thinking, wow, this is a busy composition. I'd never expected to see it done this well. If I had executed this as a needlepoint, it certainly wouldn't look this good. I mean, nothing I do looks this good. And I love the addition of the blingy earring here too. It's just so much fun. So much fun. I'm recognizing some of the color changing wool in the background. I think that one that's like the brown with the jam is called Peanut Butter Sandwich from the Autumn Sampler. That's, I think, from the Autumn Sampler of yarn. It's really fun. It's a lot of variation. You're right, Ryan. You have to be, you have to have it. And Ryan, you definitely have color instinctively built in, right? When you're doing a piece like this, I think you really have to lean into your own color aesthetic, right? If you're not following a color plan, I think you have to trust yourself that you're going to go toward the colors that you personally like. And you have to trust yourself that they're going to work. And if they're not working, that you're going to recognize it. But you always have to give it that classic hot minute, don't you? Because you don't know how it really looks until it's sitting there for a while with some colors around it. And you don't know even after you've done it. I know Mandy is like a super, super pro, so I'm guessing she always planned for the black outlining. But if it were me, I'd probably be doing what I always do, which is trying to get away with something and thinking like, oh, maybe I don't want to outline and maybe I won't outline. And then maybe I outline a little bit and it disappears and I think, oh, maybe this isn't the right weight of yarn. I need something thicker. You know, I'm constantly second guessing myself with busy pieces like this and thinking, is the contrast good enough? Is it not? You know, I don't feel like I have it built in as naturally as Mandy has it built in. But I think if I were to tackle this pattern, or Ryan, you were to tackle it, and you know, I think everybody would come to it with their own likes and dislikes of different colors that are already hardwired, right? And that you would just have to look at it and as you go along say, this one's too close to this one or whatever, until you get what looks like perfect balance for you, right? Because this to me is such a perfectly balanced composition. Everything color-wise is really firing. And it still has a great graphic impact. I love the black silhouettes of the bats in the corners and the cat in the hat. I mean, it's just really, it's very, very smart. It's done very, very well. The piece is much better than the drawing, I can tell you. It's really, really well done. Absolutely beautiful. And Melissa, you have been working on something absolutely beautiful as well. This is another, this is one of my all-time faves. This is the piece called Sweater Weather. And this is a pattern from Ribbon Candy Hooking, a witch walking through the trees. I'm still working on mine too. In mine, I did the trees in cut up striped sweaters. So the trees look like they're yarn bombed. This one is a very different take, and I really love it, Melissa. You did the color changing background. You did the variegated background with all of the different colors popping. So you couldn't really do that and then yarn bomb the trees too. It would be super, super hard to read. You've got everything balanced really beautifully too with the very dark, mysterious ground, right? And that kind of dusky pink in the sky seems to signal the end of the day. I love this. I'm guessing you used all sweaters. I love the material on the witch's dress. I've been struggling with that. I have pretty much the whole background filled in and the ground, but I haven't filled in the witch. And until I saw your piece here that you did a witch in a dark costume, I thought, yeah, no, I definitely need to have a dark costume in there. That really, um, it really is what indicates that she's a witch. I mean, she is wearing a pointed hat and holding a broom, so that helps too. And she's got her crazy witch boots on, right? Like high fashion witch. But it is kind of a sweater dress that she's wearing. I think you captured that really, really well. I love the style that you did her in. I really love her hair. You know, she looks like, you know, she looks like she's my age. She doesn't look like she's a spring chicken of a witch. She has a fairly anonymous face, which I like. A little bit of blush to the cheek because it doesn't leave me wanting to relate to her, right? I'm just looking at her more as a form, and I'm thinking about the story of her being in the woods by herself, very sort of introspective piece. Very, very autumn scene too, with the trees as they are, and then that carte blanche that you have in a piece like this to be able to fill in the trees and the sky and the trunks in any color that you want. And it just becomes a question of, is it working? Is it successful? In this case, it is hugely successful. I love the color balance. I love the mixed red in the trees that repeats in her boot. That is like a triangle of red, isn't it, where the points fall? That's really, really smart. I love the warm red with that cool kind of lilac-y color that's almost toward white in the middle. That's really, really smart. And then the dark, dark brown with that one dark puff of tree on the right. You made really good decisions about placement because it really pinballs your eye all over the composition. It really came out great. And I saw that you wrote in the post that it was one of your favorite projects that you've ever worked on. And it's just fantastic, whether it's my project or not. It's just fantastic, you know, for anybody when you find a project that you're just in that vein and you're doing well, and it's not, you know, it's not a lot of heartache. It's just going well. It's nice when everything falls into place, and it's a pleasure to work on it without too many weird sort of junctures, crossroads where you're thinking, should I do this or should I do this? It's nice when things flow, and it sounds and looked, the speed that you were working at made me think this piece is just going well. You did a really nice job with that. Oh, and you started working on Fluffy. This is Pumpkin Fluffy. You got a lot further. I forgot I wanted to add the picture you put on Facebook today. I saw it while I was riding on the Halloween train, and then I forgot when I came home to add it to the show. But Melissa is working on Fluffy. It's a whole runner of the Fluffy pattern repeated. So you are able to, it looks like you're doing each kind of a pop art Andy Warhol thing, like each one a little bit different, which is going to make for such an amazing piece. And I love the addition of the leaves right on the edge of this. This is the fluffy hook along the pumpkin that we're going to be doing together. If you want to watch me hook it live on Mondays starting at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if not, maybe you just want to log on for some tips. Whether you have the kit or not, a lot of people have this kit. But whether you have it or not, you don't need it. You could just log on for company and for tips, for to socialize, whatever you want. You might hear something you haven't heard before or lately, and might be helpful. But I really love you putting the real leaves on this piece because it made me think about this design as like fluffy as the green man, like in the spring, alive, like under all the leaves with like, the leaves covering up the face, but the face still alive, right? The sort of that mythical British green man, folkloric character. And Fluffy does look like that, hidden behind the branches of these autumn leaves. So beautiful piece. I can't wait to see how that evolves. Sue Murray, a beautiful piece from Encompassing Designs. This is my Halloween rug, pattern design by Encompassing Designs, Mahoney Bay, Nova Scotia. I'm guessing it's Mahoney and not Mahone. Oh, I think that's where Encompassing Designs comes from. This is, they are so great. I love their designs. I hardly ever talk about them because I hardly ever cross over with them. But I really respect and love the brand Encompassing Designs. I think the patterns are really whimsical and different. I always like different, very offbeat. This is one of those, isn't it? There's some great stuff happening in this pattern. And Sue, you have hooked this so beautifully. I don't know if you do the color planning, but the colors are just fantastic. I love that irregular scallop of the kind of tweedy charcoal around the edges. And I love that's a very cool gray, right? The tweedy one on the border. But then you see the interior gray alternating, again, very irregularly with shapes that really mimic the scalloping, right? So that in itself is smart because we're looking at similar lines. But we're seeing a gray that's a much more rosy gray, right? More like a morning dove kind of a gray. Mixed with more of like a bluish gray, like a stoneware kind of. There's two different grays next to each other, and that always makes for a great party. Some really bright leaves, funny story with the witch bumping into the moon and the cat hanging onto the tail of the moon. It's just a beautiful piece. I really love the village in this piece. It's like nothing, everything is a bit quirky and nothing is quite what you would expect here. Even the buildings are kind of like a village that the crooked man with the crooked hat and the crooked cat and the crooked cane and the crooked everything. It's like he was the architect for the entire village here. Really funny and funky and smart. I love the bits of yellow coming out of it from the bottom like a Swatch watch and really connecting to that wild sky with all of the stars. It's a really fun piece. The striped stockings, right? Even the position of the fingers on the witch's hand, the way her hat is crumpled up makes a great shape. It looks like there are some real fibers on the broom part of the broom that she's sitting on. It's just a lot of fun. Love this guy, Linda says. Everything is so cute. Ted, I just say it's pronounced Mahone, not Mahoney. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you. That's perfect. Just a funny piece, just a funky piece. It really mixes storytelling with it just being very pop art feeling, right? It's very shape driven. It's very unexpected. It's got a lot of colors and feel from like 1990s and early 2000s art, right? Graphic art. It's got a lot going on. It's a great piece. I also have to say, Sue, though, I can tell that you're a great hooker because of the way that the houses are done. The windows are done perfectly. You've angled the windows perfectly because it would be tempting to kind of to not be exactly careful with the angles that they're coming in at, right? Because you're not going with the grain of your rug hooking top to bottom, side to side of your backing fabric. You did the windows perfectly, and it matters a lot because those little chips of color are competing with the stars in the sky, and that is a huge part of this design. So guess that witch can't drive a stick. And you're so funny. So that'd be a great text for a rug. That would be super, super funny. That'd be great around the border. But it's just a smart piece. You know, the silhouettes, the shape of the cat's body, really well done. I mean, look at that. Look at the shape of his body, the way his hind legs, they still have that bend to them. It's right. And the way he's cupping his little paws in the front with his two eyes like beaming like help me. It's very, very well done. You've got some parts here that are very simple shapes and could easily have gone all blobby, but you have articulated everything perfectly. And you've got some very big, broad shapes in place, and you've also got some very nice filigree shapes like the trees and the fences. So you did a beautiful job, Sue. It's a gorgeous piece. And Anne, you sent in a gorgeous piece too. You are too funny. So this piece is called, and you came up with the perfect name for this piece, didn't you? It's called Spellania. You make me laugh. You come up with the funniest stuff. You're so silly. So you said, morning, here's my finished witch I designed and punched needled. Oh, you punched this one. Put it in a vintage embroidery hoop and left the background with a natural linen. You love the way that it turned out, and you named her Spellania. That is really, really good. This is a great piece. And you punched with different kinds of yarn. I can see that because the hair looks like a different yarn. Unless you just packed the hair a little tighter, it looks like a slightly different yarn than the face. It's really good. And you know what Spellania reminds me of? The pumpkin that you just made. I should have put it in the slideshow that won the prize at the library fair this week. That was another pumpkin with a Spellania, big, long, witchy nose, green skin tone. Congratulations on that win, by the way. That's really fun. I just love this design. I love the spider hanging from the hat. I love the buckle hat. It's really fun. Different yarns. Yeah, they look different. These are not. These both look like yarns with a fairly high twist. In other words, I can see if they are, for example, 2-ply, 3-ply. I can't tell that from where I'm sitting, but I can tell that there are individual ply within each loop. So that says to me, I can picture what that yarn looks like. You know what I mean? And it's fun to practice either punching or hooking with different kinds of yarn because they all perform differently. I really like the textures that you got here from the different yarns. The black is harder to read because it's a dark color, but her skin being green and the texture of the yarn that you chose, it does look a bit craggy, right? It does look a bit warty and highly textured. And the hair looks a little bit finer, still very, very high texture, but it looks more fuzzy and crimped, doesn't it? I think you chose the perfect type of yarn for all of the parts of this design. You did a beautiful job. You always do. You're a super pro, and it's a beautiful piece. Let me show you what the back of this looks like. Spellania. Beautifully finished in the back, too. You did a nice blanket stitch right around the edge. Got everything nice and tidy. You have that on that nice older frame. Oh, the spider was that fuzzy velvet yarn. Let's look at that again. Oh, that's smart. Let me see if I can stretch that a little bit. I figured out a trick with my program early this morning. I figured out what it meant to lock the slides so they don't play me. Probably not going to see that, but I can tell, since I can picture that fuzzy velvet yarn, it's almost like a chenille, isn't it? I can tell that that would be extra, extra lush, really luxuriant kind of a very opaque black feel. You can't get any more black than like a black velvet, can you? I mean, really. Ryan says, classic witch, very cute. I enjoy the blank background. Makes the design pop. It really does. It really does. It's a real artisan piece. And I like that it's an older hoop. I like seeing the top of it, that wood part with a darker wood, right? It doesn't look like a Susan Bates or whatever. It doesn't look like a hoopla. It's a gorgeous piece. It's a really, really good piece. Really glad you sent that, buddy. That is really, really fun. All right. Hold on one second. Let me see. How'd I do that? Hang on. There we go. Come on, Deanna. You got this. You got this. All right. Shannon, you sent a couple. Shannon put the show together, and she gave me a couple of great pieces, like Spooky on a pillow. This is so fun. I just love this piece. This is another monochromatic piece. You know, I don't know why I have in my head that monochromatic pieces are limited, because they're not. This is a really, really gut legs piece. right? It is neutral colors, but it's very, very unexpected and it's very artsy because of that. I don't expect to see like a pumpkin that's like khaki with kind of chamois and white colors happening. And I love the ghostly white leaf, right? It's like a phantom leaf. It's like an albino kind of a pumpkin. It's unexpected. We see white pumpkins, right? But this is a sort of colorful pumpkin with a white leaf. And then we've got text where we usually see all the jagged teeth or some kind of design that involves teeth, right? Or a light glowing. Instead, we see almost like a text bubble that says spooky. I think that's really smart. We also are seeing eyes with this pumpkin that are more animated than most jack-o'-lantern eyes. We usually get really sort of charactery, very, very simplistic lines for eyes on jack-o'-lanterns. But these are more human eyes. These are more realistic eyes. I'm just going to take a quick sip. I do too, Anne. I think it's really different. And of course, something like this would also match everything. It is Kirsten, it's a great color palette. It seems like it'd be a great challenge, because I would worry with just having these many colors in front of me. I would worry it wasn't interesting enough. But then you see it and it's like, yeah, that's really good. That's really festive. And it must be a ton of fun to have out. This is the other piece, Shannon, that you did. And I said, oh, God, I really love this piece. This is a Dion Fitzpatrick pattern. Which I turned. It was 3 ladies. You turned 3 regular ladies into 3 witches. So now I didn't really read that sentence before. Now that makes sense to me because I've seen a lot of Dion Fitzpatrick patterns that are like, groups of ladies and the sort of fishing community ladies with the appropriate attire and the oversized overcoats and that kind of thing, standing in groups, very friendly and conspiratorial type talking in clusters. But this almost gives it new meaning when you put the witches' hats on, right? It's like, ooh, what's going on there? It really makes sense. That was a super, super great inspiration. I love the broom. I'm wondering if that character was holding something. I'm loving the broom. It almost looks like flames against the night because the way that you hooked it is very Dion Fitzpatrick. Which is a huge compliment, right? Because it's a style that I've never been able to accomplish. It's very rich in patterning, right? There are some elements of the design, in this case, the characters, that are just very flat and graphic, and again, anonymous. And then the other larger areas that remain are usually broken down in Dion Fitzpatrick style into intense patterning and not the same patterns. So this is exactly what Shannon's done with this piece here, and it is really superlatively great. It really is. The fun and the joke of turning the little cluster of women into women wearing witches' hats or witches is such an inspiration. So perfect. And I really love this. This is just great. And I think this is a pillow. That is absolutely beautiful. Really, really love it. Randy. So Randy hasn't sent anything in yet, and this was exciting to get. This is the second instance along with the Stone Hill right at the beginning from Gettysburg of seeing some new pieces by somebody new. This was very exciting this week. Oh, Judy said of the last one, let's look. It looks like she's carrying a cauldron. It does. I wonder if it was a basket and it's a cauldron. It really is. It's just fantastic. It's just fantastic. It has a very haunting feel to it. My mom says, I love how the moon is at the level of the ladies' faces and seems to be part of the evening. Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting. I guess the moon is over on the left because on the right, that's the broom, right? That's the broom. There's so much motion in the background, but on the left, that could be the moon. There's lots of little shapes emerging, and I like the light ground too. It is like it's a bright evening and the sun is getting, the ground is getting kind of blanched, very ghostly. It's really well done, Shannon. That's like one of my great favorites. Now, Randy sent this great piece, and there's a few great pieces that are Halloween themed that Randy did over the past 5 years. This is a lovely one. I'm not sure who the designer is, but I'm thinking it's Lori Brecklin, Not Forgotten Farm. I'm not sure. It's just a guess. But it's just a beautiful piece. And again, this piece is like, wow, it's just unexpected. This is not a color palette that I would think to use. It's a very warm, neutral khaki background or camel colored background. I would never think to use this for a Halloween piece, but it's actually fantastic. It's so unexpected. I really love the sheep, and I love the material that the sheep is hooked in. I did a little finessing with color because this image was a little bit dark and I didn't have time to request another. So I did a little finessing with color, but it does have, I think, more contrast than you think. I was just trying to brighten up the colors so we could see what the palette really looked like. And I'm just loving the palette. I'm loving the design. I'm loving the choices, you know, of the colors, the placement. I'm loving the directional hooking on the witch's dress, the way that it comes down and goes around her rump and down again. That makes a pattern. That directional hooking makes its own pattern. Beautiful flower, unexpected colors all around. And I have to say, one of the great sort of prestige moments of this piece is that that border is so beautiful, and it's like the colors of Indian corn, isn't it? It's just gorgeous. I really, really love this piece. Are you also noticing these really blingy and amazing clips that are holding this piece? They are anchored to the wall, and they're almost like burnt or engraved to the wood with like a little floral swag or a little sprig. Absolutely beautiful, really subtle, very classy, nice little bit of hardware there holding this up. It looks really fancy, very, very fitting to such a great piece. Beautiful primitive style. Did you catch the video I did yesterday or the day before on hooking in the primitive style? What is the primitive style? Um, you know, I thought that's what you thought, Mom, that the broom was the moon. Oh, there we go. There's a poem. Um, I like that it's on the same level, though. I think that matters a lot. I think that matters a lot to the story. Because making sure that you know that the characters are witches becomes the story, doesn't it? With the story being altered as it is. And April says, I love this piece. Would you, something, oh, I can't, the heart is covering the text there. Would you, something left out even the Thanksgiving with the colors? Oh, it would be a great piece to leave out. Absolutely, because it does have those warm colors going into the next holiday. Absolutely it would. Great Indian corn colors. I mean, it's just a beautiful piece. It's the colors are working very well. The camel, you know, is functioning as a neutral, but I love the rust and the turquoise of the flowers. I think that's very, very smart because it would be tempting to leave blue out of this composition because we have a color family happening here. It's like an all warm autumn palette, but without having a different color in there that wants to compete like the turquoise blue, I think it could become, it could stagnate a little bit. That blue is popping every other color that's present, particularly the border. So I love that Randy had the built-in know-how to realize that there really needed to be, um, I mean, for me, I think it has to be blue because the black is almost a purpley black, like an antique black. I think blue is the needed color in this composition, and there it is showing up in the flower. It's just a gorgeous piece, Randy. You did a great job. And two more pieces by Randy. This is another really fantastic primitive piece, another witch, Nantucket broom ride. So this is really, really fun. Sometimes we see Nantucket sleigh ride, which is when a witch is riding on a whale historically during the days of whaling, because they would harpoon the whale from a small boat and then the whale would take off and they would take the boat with them. And whether it was on top of the water or under the water would be up to the whale. And that would also dictate the fate of the people who were in the small boat. But this is a take on the Nantucket sleigh ride, and this is the Nantucket broom ride, because there she is sitting right on the kind of spout of the whale with her broom, right? She could be blasted off at any minute. Maybe the whale is spouting because I see this dark sort of movement in the sky. That's probably the whale doing his he's probably trying to spout her off. If you look at his expression, he doesn't look overly pleased with having the weight of the witch right on the top of his head. Very, very fun piece over this classic kind of colonial salt boxy village, really like early American architecture. Beautiful piece. And again, Randy, the choice to do the background with very light whites and light tans. Unexpected, right? You do very unexpected stuff in the background because we're not really seeing a lot of blue in this piece. And it's a whale and it's a water scene. And I love that we're not seeing a lot of blue in this piece because again, you're putting something in front of us that's very unexpected, and that's always exciting. I love the shape of the moon. I love the stars. It looks like there's some three-dimensional, maybe that's hair coming down her back, right? It looks like there's something three-dimensional coming from out of her hat. It's got to be hair, right? And I even love the little kind of simplified version of the weeping willow trees, kind of in that T variant between the houses. I think that's very smart too, right? It's very, very simple lines, very sweet piece, all the elements that we need. I love this one too, Melissa. This is just a great, great piece. And, you know, we might have 4 from Randy. I think we might have 4. And you know, if you're loving the others, you're going to love the following ones too, right? Because these are just fantastic pieces, working very much in the primitive style. Mom, I'm going to try to get this thing off my neck because now I'm feeling it. God, am I feeling it? I think I got it. I got it. Whew. Okay, there we go. Holy jingles. All right, there we go. Another really gorgeous piece. And are you noticing with again the background? Isn't this unexpected? Honestly, you know, this is teaching me, looking at Randy's pieces, it's really teaching me, next time I sit down to do a primitive piece, I'm really going to think about my background. I tend to, I think, go for the low-hanging fruit and drop in a background that is rather expected. And in looking at Randy's pieces, I'm thinking, you know, I'm really going to be a bit more thoughtful about what I drop in there, because seeing backgrounds that are neutral colors, instead of literal colors like sky and water, or ground, you know, forest, whatever, is really interesting. And it really highlights the story of the piece, right? In this case, the 2 pumpkin characters, right, come to life. And do you notice that beautiful felted, it looks like a needle felted kind of roving moon behind the female character. Really is a beautiful addition. I just love the offbeat humor of these pieces. I'm not sure if the design worked this way, but you see how there's like an interrupted sawtooth border on the sides, just 2 of the sides, done in the black. And I just love that it's very irregular. It really adds interest, because if it was right down to the bottom and all matchy-matchy, I feel like that wouldn't be as interesting. I also really love, I'm just going to attempt to open the window because I'm getting blasted with heat. It could be that I've got 100 lights in my face, and it could be menopause. It could be, let me see, Mom. So far, so good. So far, let me see. Hold on 1 second, everyone. I don't want to pass out on the computer. That would be an episode, huh? And I'm specifically doing it while you don't see me because I'm not quite presentable. I have discarded quite a few items. There we go. All right. Comfortable and yeah. Whew, a bit sorted. All right, I took a bunch of stuff off. It is warm today. I don't know about where you are, but it was in the 80s today here in Connecticut. And whoo, feeling it tonight, man. Oh, I need that water more than the wine. Don't you love that the hats are the colors that they are, right? You know, it's another thing for me. I'm such a ding dong sometimes. I'm always trying to put in maybe a fan if it's nice and only if it's handy, Mom. My mom's getting me a fan. I'm being a real baby. You know, I always put in the black hat just because I think I must, but I don't need to. I'm realizing that this strikes me a lot like the painting American Gothic, right? Isn't it a bit of that? It does have that feel. It's so good. It's so good. It's so country, so primitive. Has a lot of humor, a lot of fun, and a lot of these offbeat details. Do think about it a bit when you are you know, dropping in costume pieces that are kind of like the tried and true witch's hat. Looking at it in this kind of greeny, sagey gray is really a lot of fun. I can still perfectly understand that that's a witch's hat, right? That's not really a thing. So just, oh, that feels so good, Mom. Thank you.
Is that good?
Oh, God, that feels so good.
That's the highest it
Oh,
goes,
boy, that's better. I was really struggling.
Yeah, that's as high as it goes.
Whew. Nope, that's perfect. And let me know if it's too loud for you.
Well, that's pretty quiet, that one.
I do have a shirt on. Just I still have a shirt on, just so you know. It was looking very sketchy for a minute there. I'm like a dog panting over the computer. Really pretty. So that was by Randy too. Let's look. I think we have one more by Randy. Let's make sure that we don't miss anything good. Oh, I see. Wait a minute. I lost track. Hang on. I got this. There we go. I think that's, let me just make sure that that's the last one. Yep, that's the last one. So this is also Randy's, and this is a great piece. The photograph is at a little bit of an angle, but you can see this is another great depiction of a witch. Standing on some pumpkins. This is a bit more magical, isn't it? Just in terms of style and design. We've got some wispy flowing robes, some different colored pumpkins. We've got the silhouette of a witch, again, not wearing black. Right, there is a black hat or a dark hat, but she's holding a very dark pumpkin. Unexpected colors, unexpected substitutions for colors. And again, we're looking at a pattern with this piece where we are seeing the border executed only on the sides. And isn't that interesting? It makes for such an interesting piece. Happy Halloween, it says on the bottom, and that it's being held together, not held together, but it's being held up by the tabs that are sewn on, and a little broom, a little whiskey broom. Isn't that fun? Isn't that fun? Because, sometimes you do see little brooms, and if you're really lucky, you see brooms that are different colors of broom, right, that have like been dyed. And that's a lot of fun. Because if you think about multiplying the sort of possibilities when you've got a broom and maybe different colored bristles or multicolored bristles, and you think about how the color of that object as the hanger fits in with the color of your composition. Oh, it could be so good, right? It could be so good. Lots to think about, lots to consider. And I guess the lesson from Randy is when you are getting into it and you are thinking about it and you are considering, start by not making assumptions, right? That's the thing, isn't it? Is that we make assumptions. Like a witch's hat has to be black and her costume has to be black and pumpkins have to be these colors. And I think if you start by not making any assumptions, then you're in a really good place, because you are absolutely at liberty to do anything. And then it's just up to you whether you like what you've come up with, right? Because the point isn't to break the rules, right? It's not about breaking the rules. It's about knowing that you can move the lines and move the borders for whatever rules you have in your head already. It's more about knowing that you can, not exercising the right to do it in like a defiant way, right? Just knowing is enough, and then trying things out, reminding yourself is enough. Oh, is that a bat she's standing on? Oh, I'm sure you're right. Let me go back and look. Hang on. I have my best glasses on. Oh, is that a bat? You know what? I'm going to unlock this piece. Right. See, the slideshow for me is going better tonight because I've locked everything. Let me unlock her and stretch her out. And then I'll lock her back up. Let's see. Ooh, I see. It looks like there's something 3D happening with the moon, too. Oh, that is a bat she's standing on. You're right. You're right. I see the body in the middle and the wings off to the side. Ooh, that is smart. That is smart. Oh, that is a great piece. I'm looking at what's on top of the bat. Is that like an owl? Is that an owl on top of the bat? Remember, I'm not asking because the piece isn't exquisite. I'm asking because I see a very small version of the piece on my dashboard. I see tons of numbers, text, and a million levels, and a very small part of the piece. So thank you for bringing up the fact that it was a bat. And I wonder if that's an owl resting on top of the bat. Or it might just be that I'm catching the lines the wrong way. Dawn, that was a good one. That was a really good one. And Linda says the whole piece is great, hung on the broom. Really smart, isn't it? And says, is she standing on a rat, a mouse, or a bird? Yep, I think it's got to be a bat with those wings. But I think there is something else there. Maybe not, but I think maybe. Maybe. It's whipped beautifully, too. This piece is just gorgeous. Randy, thank you for sending in those pieces. What a lot of fun. You happen to have 3 amazing Halloween pieces, and they were all super, super beautiful and fun. Let's do one more. Cheers, my dears, right? Take a little cheers, my dears break. Jocelyn wants to see the witch standing on the bat. Oh, Jiminy Cricket.
Sorry, Mr. Pumpkin.
No, that's okay. Okay, come here, baby. Let's see. Here, you tell us what you think of the witch standing on the bat, and then we gonna move on. Hang on. Don't bump too much stuff.
I was called This Is Halloween.
This is Halloween. No. Okay, there we go. Wait a minute, was that it? Yep, that's it. See, she's in silhouette and she's
She's
standing on. Yep.
She's standing on an owl and there's like a rat jumping.
That's a bat. That's certainly a bat because there's wings.
No, that's its tail. That's a rat.
No, this is a bat. And I think that's the owl on top of it. You know, let me see if I can make it a little bit bigger.
No. This is definitely an owl and that is definitely a rat.
All right, we're going to have a domestic problem here. Just kidding. Just kidding. Let me see if I can unlock her a little bit.
And
It also
that-
looks like a cat head
Where?
in front of her. Ooh, interesting. Gosh, now I've locked it so well that I can't. Oh, there we go. Okay, let's see. Let's see if we can do one more stretcheroonie. Ooh, I'm more convinced than ever that that's an owl.
Alright.
Oh, it does look like there might be one more creature in there, doesn't there?
So this is an owl and there's a rat.
I don't see that the way that you see that. It doesn't really matter. We're
This
kind
is either an owl or a bat right there.
yeah.
Right
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
And right
Don't press
here,
buttons. Don't press buttons. Don't press buttons.
That you see that little thing right there?
Yep.
And you see the line across her?
Yeah.
And you see this little black spot? That's a rat.
Got to move on. If you say so. I think we're kind of Eschering it up. You know, the artist Escher, how like things are like locked into other things and don't make noise. Don't make noise. Yeah, that's a bit where it's getting to be an academic
Right.
conversation over here.
I know that.
Yeah.
I saw that before.
Oh, you saw this? Such a nice piece. Okay, so hang on. I have Debbie McIntosh. No, wait a minute. Is this Debbie? This is Debbie. Of course it is. Debbie McIntosh from Nova Scotia. You have a few of your spookier rugs that we're going to look at right now.
I'll be right back.
Okay, sweetie, I'll be right here. This is an absolutely fantastic couple of pieces. This is a great idea, doing three-dimensional pieces like this, and I'm assuming that they're mounted on sticks, or there's sticks coming out of the bottom, or bottom bobbins, right? From an old factory. Really, really fun. You've got two stuffed characters in a nice kind of stoneware jug. What a lot of fun. Just what you want, probably in front of the fireplace or something, right? What a lot of fun. It's just it's great to have pieces that are not just on the wall and the floor, but are hanging out in different parts of the house like this is. This is a really fun piece. And this is the fireplace. Oh, it is the fireplace. You see them down there on the bottom left? I have to say I love peeking into other people's houses. That's a bit ghoulish maybe, but I just love it. I love seeing what I can figure out by looking at that. This is a very festive spread, and you have that kind of red cobwebby cloth over the mantle, right? That's a bit sheer, perfect for Halloween. And you've got the pottery thing down on the ground with the two characters in it. So much fun. Dawn, you like that too, right? And, you know, I have to say, and somebody very special is framed in the center, I think, so I was wondering about that. And a couple of little strategically placed statues on the mantle, some beautiful pumpkins and autumn flowers. It's just gorgeous. And I see a leaf, a pillow with a leaf over off to the side. That fits really well with your theme as well. I have to say I was very inspired when I saw this because I have a lot of stuff, and I collect a lot of stuff. And I love glass, and I've always loved colored glass, and I never tend to look at clear glass. But I have to say, when I opened up this photo and I saw this whole vignette, this whole autumn vignette that you've got going, and I saw all that clear glass on top, I thought, oh my word, that really is so striking, right? It's just there's something so magical about that clear glass up there, different shapes, different sizes, different heights, all catching the light. It's not distracting. It doesn't look crowded. It's not bringing all kinds of crazy mismatched colors into one place. It's just like such a nice unified vignette that you have up there on that shelf, on the overmantel. That really is so pretty. I love what you've got going there. And I wish I was over there to creep around and look at more of your stuff. This is another one of your things, Debbie. This is a beautiful piece. I'm thinking this is a hooked piece, hooked with yarn and wool strips. You can see there's some great directional hooking in the moon around the owl, and you've got ooh in text right above the moon, and it looks like you have hooked in yarn, right? That dark inky background color, and the owl is on a branch. He's perched on a branch, and what does he have for eyes? He's got quillies. He's got those great hypnotic quillies for eyes, swirling around, right? Hypnotizing you as you walk by. It is a super, super fun piece, very fun and festive, Another one of your great fun pieces with a really vintage feel to it. The cat out trick-or-treating. He's rather a dandy. He's got his nice jack-o'-lantern bucket, right, hopeful of candy. And I love the orange eyes on him, the orange bow tie, the yellow sort of cummerbund. It's just a great piece. The framework to it is interesting too, because it's almost like it's a doorway, but it's not. It's a beautiful fluid shape. Very, very nice. I think he might have a bird on his arm. On the other arm, it looks like there's a crow having the same problem as I always have, right? And maybe a bit of a walking stick on that side. He's making his way for sure. It is one of these great old-time black cats. Very, very good. I like seeing the lighter gray on his nose too, and I like seeing the use of the dark blue. It's not quite to navy, but it is a very limited color palette, and it looks really good. Really good. Did a great job. And wait a minute, I think I have another one. Oh yeah, this is another beauty. This is also Debbie. Again, another three-dimensional piece. I got to work on more stuff like this. It's just fun to have more stuff around. Beautiful hooked pumpkin head that's been transformed into a doll, with these kind of seed packet envelope pockets and some text on the smock. Little scarecrow feel with the stick arms, and otherwise dressed up quite nicely. Just a beautiful festive piece. Your place, Debbie, must be so much fun this time of year, right? I'm wondering if you decorate for all the holidays as well as you decorate for Halloween. But so pretty. Now this next piece is from Sam Carter, who is Shannon's daughter. And I have met Sam, and Sam has tried her hand at rug making, starting out with latch. So what I want to say about this is, Shannon, you wrote to me and you said, first attempt at original latch hook and big fail. So this is an original pattern. You wrote, haha, but it is frustrating, isn't it? I think you forwarded this from Sam. Okay, so I thought you were writing this, Shannon. So this is Sam saying first attempt, and she wrote, I cut each piece of yarn by hand, probably different sizes, so you can't see the image really well. I didn't realize my words were backwards because, oh, I see what you mean, because you can't read them on the front. We fixed it by saying my latch is a secret message only to be read on the back side. This is supposed to be a Western ghost wearing boots saying, boot scootin' spooky. Any advice on how to fix the front? Thank you, Sam. So, are you ready for the front? Now, Sam, I'm going to say, if you're watching, or Shannon, you relay this, that this is not, all is not lost, like at all. This is absolutely going to be okay. So, I'm going to open up this slide, and this is what it looks like on the front. So, I get what you're saying. Oh, I think it's upside down. I think what I did is upside down. Hang on, let me just, it's not, wait a minute, let me unlock. Oh, hang on, I'll show that in a minute, honey. Let me keep going.
There's lightning coming out of its tail.
All right, hang on, sweetie. Let me do.
And here's a weird looking scorpion.
Okay. Shh, hold on, honey. Let me get through this text. We're trying to do a problem solve, and then we'll look at your scorpions. I do want to look at your scorpions. So, Sam, all is not lost. I know it seems like it is, and it is super fun to cut your own yarn and to do a latch hook piece. And this looks like a finished latch hook edge, so it's like it's blank and you just go for it. I can see that the design is fantastic, and I love the text, boot, scoot, and spooky. I love that tongue twister. So there's a couple things that you can do here. The text is a problem. So I have fixes for everything, right? And I love the way that you solved the problem. This really can be solved. I think the first thing you might need to do is cut the pile a little bit. Just very conservatively cut the pile a little bit. And then I think the next thing you have to do, I would not add anything else to the dark background. I would choose a different color for the text, maybe like a silver or something metallic, maybe a lime green or a really, really bright pinky purple. And I would figure out on the back with a marker or just pinning like paper letters onto it, like stencils, how to reverse the letters and rehook them without taking anything out of it. I would leave the sky the way that it is, and it looks like the sky, and I know those are letters that have been like overgrown. I get that. But I would just leave it the way that it is, trim it down, particularly the lighter pieces, and I would add because with latch hook, you can just add more yarn to the same space. You don't have to take out the yarn on that little cell to put something new in there. You just add it, right? Add it to it. So don't add anything to the background. The background is plush enough and it's working fine. Cut down the height a little bit, particularly on the lighter pieces, the text pieces, and rehook with the right orientation of lettering, knowing it's going to be reversed now. We've all made that mistake in colors that way better stand out, and it is going to come out a lot better. And make the letters even thicker. So if you, like a typewriter, push boot right to the center and even enlarge the letters a hair, like try to do, if you can, do them the width of 2 spaces rather than the width of 1 if possible, just to make sure that you have them there. If it is still hard to read the letters after you add them in a different color, then just with your fingernail pick off some of the old text. I like the color that it's making. That's why I really don't want you to remove all of it. And I don't really want you to remove any of it. I think you just need a different color in there. I think you can cut the pile, make it a much lower pile, and get more text in there without removing anything to the top. As far as the ghost goes, I would do the same thing in the center with the ghost. I would add way more white, right, to the same places. Add 2 or 3 more pre-cuts of white to all of the spaces that have white. Just add more. Same with the hat, right? Just add more. And the shoes. Don't take anything out. Just fluff out the ghost with a lot more material. Even thicker material. But you don't have to do thicker. It needs to be more, because what you've got is being swallowed up in the background. I think trimming it down a little bit is going to help a lot, but I think you really need to give a better shape to the ghost, and I think you so easily can without removing anything. Again, emphasizing without removing anything. I think you can have this whole composition in a matter of a couple of days, even like one day if you're going to put a few hours into it. I think you can just get in there with the latch hook, just add pieces in strategic spots, and I think you're going to end up with a very readable piece that is super funny and fun. You just need more materials, more of the same materials, the ghost orange, white. You need to pop that more because he's very small in the overall composition. I know that the text is important, and I think you're going to have no problem with the text. But when you pop the ghost, he's going to be really, really, really good too. I almost wish that there were 2 more ghosts on the side of them, like, because it gives me a bit of a video game feel, you know what I mean? The old pixelated stuff. I almost wish that there were ghosts on both sides, like they were doing a line dance or something. Doesn't matter. But this can be saved, right? This can absolutely be saved. You can totally do this without like reverse engineering what you've done. Just by adding and by trimming, you're going to be able to absolutely bring this back. I promise, because I've done this with pieces. And I've been like, oh, look at how cool and artsy and bohemian this looks. And it becomes like unintelligible. And I do the tricks that I just told you with adding support to characters that are not strong enough or motifs, and trimming, right? Strategic trimming. Careful. Just like Barbie hair, right? You don't just go in for the kill. You have to be really, really careful. But you're going to be able to turn the whole situation right around, I promise.
So can I show my scorpion now?
Yes. Let's look at Joss's scorpion for just. This is I guess this is a new design. Oh, Joss, that is quite a good scorpion.
It's a scorpion, and he's shooting lightning out of his tail.
Oh, Joss.
Here's the.
I quite like this scorpion. That is a very nice piece.
The slightly more
Paper cut on the face.
Scorpion.
Ooh, no, it just grazed my face. Don't worry, just grazed my face. That's excellent, Joss. I love that. Ooh, I love that. 2 different versions of a scorpion. Ooh, honey, that's very nice.
Which one do you like better?
Well, I have to say, I think I like this. I like them both. I like this scorpion better. He reminds me of like a necklace of pearls kind of a thing. But I have to say, I like. He's got a bit of a peacock tail in this one, and I like the background more. He looks like he's preparing for a fight, like a serious kind of a throwdown. Yeah. So I like this one better. Do you want me to hook this one or punch this one? Yeah, I could do that.
Can you put it on the shop? It's lightning.
I can put it on the shop. Yeah.
Scorpion.
Let me work on it for a little while. You know, there is that. You know what? I know exactly what to do with this. Just hold this and let
What are
me
you gonna
finish the
do?
show. I'm not going to tell you because it's going to be a surprise.
I really want to know.
It's going to be a surprise. I got to keep going with content because I've got a million things to show here.
Hi.
Okay, stop bumping the table. Stop bumping the table. All right, there we go. Love you. It's a good design, I know. How apt for Scorpio season. Oh, I didn't even realize that, Ryan.
Scorpio season?
It's Scorpio. What is it? Scorpio? Is it the season or is it the month? Is it like the is it for the zodiac sign of this month?
Yeah.
Scorpio? Oh, interesting. Okay.
I guess.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so this piece, this is a really fun piece. No, hang on.
What's your zodiac?
Mine is Pisces.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm the fishes. So this
I'm a
is
Libra.
not, you are a Libra, you little Libra.
What is the design? It's like a line
Scales.
and then a line with a bump.
Isn't it scales, Libra? Get away from the top of the stairs. Never stand backwards at the top of the stairs while you're fooling around.
Okay.
Oh, Jiminy Cricket. This piece is by Nada Ferris. Just a simple Halloween mat for a smile or two, she says. Such a nice piece. All jacks, no jills. This is just a great piece. It's a very simple design, but really great, colorful piece. A lot of fun, very funky, good color substitutions, just very pop, right? Very pop arty. Really wild colors. October, Ryan says October 23 to November 21, Scorpio sign. Oh, you're a Scorpio. That's why you know. She's got some great designs. Nada, that was super fun. I'm going to keep blazing forward a little bit. Okay, this is interesting too. Tracy Willis. Tracy Willis is a friend of mine offline too. It's so funny. We found each other after quite a while, as you do on Facebook. She's a great punch needler. She's a great artist, but she's a great punch needler. And it's so funny. I knew her years ago, only online. This was many years ago. Tracy Willis, and I feel like she lives like in Washington, totally different part of the country than I do. And years ago, when I was like in my 20s, I did a lot of work for Somerset Studio magazine with like I did a lot of art, but I also wrote articles and things. And she asked me to be one of the artists to contribute cards to this deck that I think was like it was for a charity. I think it was probably cancer or something like that. But she asked like a handful of artists who were like fairly well-known people at that time working within collage and the Somerset Studio set at that time in the 90s. And I did one of the cards, and it turned out to be one of the face cards, and I was really proud that she thought it was good enough that it was one of the face cards, and that whole project was over. And then Facebook came along, and she friended me one day, and she started chatting with me, and I thought she was someone else who I had on one of my tours, and she said, "You don't know who this is, do you?" And I said, "Oh no, of course I do. I remember being with you in Maine." And she said, "Nope, never been to Maine." And I thought, oh man, I did it, right? I stepped in it. But it turned out, she was one of my buddies from years ago. We just never met. And we crossed paths on Facebook, and she does a lot of punch needle. So she does a lot of everything, but her punch needle work is really extraordinarily good. So this is one of her pieces. She said she ran out of the blue in this one. This is a work in progress, and she's working on this one now. I think this might be on linen. So that makes me think that this is traditional punch. And I even have a second one of hers. So let's see. Oh, wait a minute. I want to leave that one open. And there we go. So those are Tracy's two that I pulled off of Facebook that I thought were really pretty. I feel like they're mini punch. Let me see if I can find punch needle. No, I don't think it says linen. For some reason, the text is blocked, like it put a symbol over the next word. I think it's just punch needle in progress, ran out of blue. Patterned by Michelle Palmer. Now these are definitely mini punch. I'm absolutely certain of it because of the way the yarn looks, right? So this is a mini or punch, probably done with like the DMC floss, possibly that kind of thing. It looks like that kind of luster and that kind of weight. But both beautiful pieces. And I don't think I've shown anything from Tracy before. I'll have to send her a message. We never knew each other well, but I really love her work and admire her. So I should send a message. Now this is another one. This is another one of Tracy's. Yep, this is definitely another one of Tracy's. This is another mini punch, aka Russian punch. I love you to the moon and back. Oh, this is the one that she meant. Yeah, this is the one that she meant. She's in the progress with this one and running out of blues. Because I was going to say the cat looks pretty finished to me. They have to be on weaver's cloth, Anne, right? It's definitely weaver's cloth. If they're mini punch, and you can see at the bottom that's definitely not a woven backing. So these are I'm 100% sure these are mini punch. It doesn't say, but you just can tell, right? But just another beautiful pattern. I think she really loves Michelle Palmer. Who doesn't, right? So, so good. Really good pieces. Very different pieces. Love the style. And oh, Colleen, remember we looked at these a couple episodes ago. Colleen sends in such nice stuff. This whole assortment of characters that she's been working on, the candy corn, the ghost, the pumpkin girl, the cat. I mean, it's just such fun. And Colleen wrote, I have had so much of a response to my couch critters and how to make them. I'm not a technical person. So, and this is a post on Facebook. So in these photos, I'll show you how I cut out and pin them together and sew them and stuff them. So I'm about to show you pictures that she posted on Facebook in case you are not on Facebook. Oh, Kirsten says, another Michelle Palmer, that last one. Was it the last one with the moon, Kirsten? I love you to the moon and back. I've done this one as well. Oh, I also love Michelle Palmer. I put a lot of her stuff in my first book, the one that's already out. But Colleen said, I'm not a technical person, but let me show, because so many people have asked, let me show you how I do this in a photo sequence. So let me show you what she posted on Facebook, because maybe you're not on Facebook and you're thinking, it would be helpful to know. So here's the finished hooked piece, right? So this is Fiona the Witch. She has longer hair, right? So the hair is going to be a problem when she does the next step. So what she does is she covers up the hair, right? With painter's tape, so it doesn't stick too much, but it just holds it out of the way so she can pin the pieces to sew them together, right? Because she's cut it out around the edges and now she's got to pin them together, but she wants to pin it and sew around the edges, but she's not going to be able to see them because she's going to have the right sides together as you do, and then you turn it inside out, right? But with the hair being so long, you really need to contain it, or while you're sewing around the edge, you might catch some of the curls from the hair, and then you're not going to be able to get them back through without ripping the seam again open on purpose, right? So she uses painter's tape to cover up the hair so that she can keep going with the sewing. And then she pins everything in place. And on the inside, right, because this is the wrong side, she's got the right sides together. On the inside, the hair is covered with the tape. And she's got it pinned up and she's ready to run a running stitch. Let me see, does she say? I would do this by hand, to tell you the truth. Unless I was in a hurry, then I would do it on the machine. If I did something like this on the machine, just so you know, if you're a big sewer, I know you know this already if you are a big sewer, but if you were going to do this on the machine, I would definitely use the buttonhole foot. So it's the half foot, because you do not want to run a regular presser foot over something this thick, right? Because it's going to go all tilted because the witch is quite thick and then the border around her is not thick at all. So that could be problematic for your sewing and for the machine choking up, right? So with stuff like this, I always use the buttonhole foot. So it runs along the outside, but no part of the foot is actually touching the hooked or punched part, which is super, super thick and dense and mushy, right? So that's just a tip if you're like an intermediate sewer. So you can see how she's going to stitch around. The safest thing to do is going to be to hand stitch, right? And she's got it all pinned, and that's the other side of it, right? So that's her backing fabric, which is just solid. And that's the last photo in the sequence, but she's going to just sew around the edges. And then once she's sewed around the edges, there's no more photos here, but what I would do, I don't know if you can see my cursor, but what I would do is once I sewed the edges very securely, I would do small stitches. I would even back up a little bit on the edges, on the corners. I'd be very careful that it was very well sewn. And then around the top, right, where we have that really pronounced curve, right, I would do what's called notching the edges of that, which means just cutting very carefully to within a hair of the stitched line that you just stitched, right? You're just notching, you're just opening it up a little bit, right? Because that curve isn't going to like what you do next, which is turn it inside out, and it's going to stay in that position forever. So with stuff like this, I notch it just to give it what's called ease, if you like. And that is how that's done. And I just have to say, Colleen, a huge thank you. Colleen is so kind and always like so many people in our group, so forthcoming about helping other people with tips and learning. And it's just such a great group. Our group hit 16,000 this week, our Facebook group, which is Rug Cooking and Punch Needle Club. And Pam Hunt posted this week. What a great group. I mean, I can't take credit for it because I'm rarely on there. But it is my group, right? It's a ribbon candy hooking page, and I started it. It's just things got busy. But the people who are in that group are keeping it going, and it's absolutely fantastic, and it's a lovely group of people. And people are just helping each other. Every time I go on there, I see things like this that Colleen did, and I think, this is fantastic. It's such a good resource for not just beginners, but people who haven't done that yet or haven't done that lately, right? I am so thirsty. All right. Oh, Beverly, I had to put some of your stuff in here because I just love you and I love your stuff. This is a design you did in 2022, so you might remember this from last year. I remember her working on it at least, and I just love this piece. Beverly always hand dyes her wool. Everything is like, just her own design, usually her own design. Sometimes she does other designs. But, I mean, you always do such fun work, colorful, fun, tons of festive stuff. You do so many festive pieces. And this is one that I saw on Facebook, and I remember that I was just loving it, and I still love it. It's a great piece, and it made me think, let's take a short walk down memory lane, because this is stuff that I remember from past years that I grabbed from before. But these are pieces that I loved, I think, last year and still do. And I thought, let's just look at them really quick because I just love these pieces. Beverly, you do such good work. I love your designs. It's super, super fun. I know there's a bunch of you out there. You made enough. Okay, you have to hold for a little while because I'm getting really behind with the episode. Just hold for a little while. And then you can show us. Another one of Beverly's design, Harvest Time, right, with the spice, the herb. Put it right there. I'll call you at the end of the episode, sweetie. Unless you want to take your pad and work on some more.
Nah.
All right. Come over here. I'll let you show it when I'm done this segment. And then you got to let me run the show. Much as I love you and as great as you are. Oh, that fits in really well with what I'm showing. But this is one of Beverly's designs. Really, really nice. Just move this box, honey. Just move the box. Oh, she was working on binding it at this point, too. And she does her own dyeing. This is from the dyeing kit that I put out, I guess, last year. It was the mason jar dyeing set at the end of the summer. And this is, man, I mean, I liked the way that mine came out. And we all had the same colors. But, of course, all different levels. And 1 or 2 grains is going to make a huge difference with stuff like dyeing. But I really love the way that Beverly's came out. And she said that it's different than yours came out. But I think I'm going to be able to use them. And, Beverly, I hope you were able to use them. Because they really are incredibly, incredibly great. I love those colors. I don't recognize them from your projects because you usually do like really bright colors. Let's see, baby. We got to keep going.
All right. It's a scarecrow with a pumpkin head, and the birds are stealing all his parts.
Oh my god. Oh my
I keep
god.
grabbing his like buttons and stuff.
Oh
and his
my
shirt.
god.
These people, these birds are destroying his face, and
Oh no.
and this he has a giant lip right here because all these guys they took all of it, and
I like this guy who's running away with his button. That's really funny. And he's ripping. This one's ripping his sleeve.
Ripping his sleeve. These guys are scared of him, and this guy he's watching from a distance, and he just got another button. The missing button down here. He's showing it to his birds.
Oh, there's a big story happening here. I really love the scarecrow, Joss. I really love that.
I really like this bubble wrap.
I know. All right. Don't make noises like that because it makes crazy noises on the. Sorry, getting edgy.
I'll put it right here.
Thank you.Ut it right there. Put it right there. Put it right there. All right.
And you can make it into this. It's too detailed for a real design.
I like the scarecrow as a character though. I might just do something with just the scarecrow.
I can do something.
Ryan says I also used last. Thank you, Joss. That's real pretty. I also used last year's mason jar kit in my piece. That's in the show tonight. That's right. I remember you had that too. You did real well with that too. You did that one right away. All right. Let's come back over here. And I'm certainly going to run over tonight. But I love seeing her pieces too. She's such a good girl. Kathy Pastore, you sent some beautiful work also. Really beautiful primitive pieces. Thank you, Linda. That pumpkin was excellent. Kathy does primitive so well. Kathy's one of the, I would consider masters of primitive. Again, make sure, if you haven't, you watch that video I did yesterday on primitive, particularly if you're not sure what that means, because I think it's really helpful defining what the genre is and what sorts of what you're looking for in a piece to say, okay, that is a primitive piece or it is not. Kathy loves primitive. It's obviously her favorite style, and she does a lot of pieces that are, I think, Lori Brecklin, Not Forgotten Farm, primitive pieces, and they are extraordinary. And since I also got a hold of some interior shots of someone's house, I was delighting in looking at the furnishings and stuff. I just love to see the way people decorate, and I love to see these beautiful festive pieces out from storage. It's their time of year. It's their time to shine. It's just a lot of fun peeking. Look at that. Isn't that a great vignette? Oh, gosh, this is like beautiful. I guess you would call this like a Deacon's bench or a Windsor style bench. I just love these fine rods on stuff like this. It's so pretty. Fantastic vignette. Lots of great atmospheric pieces for this season. It's like everywhere you turn. I just can't imagine this in my house right now with animals and children. I just can't imagine look perfect in our home. They do, Kirsten. Every time I look, the cat is like either overtly like destroying just scratching. I mean, I have a new couch in there that is quite a pretty settee kind of a thing, and she's, I mean, I love her pitter pat, but she's either overtly scratching it, or today I came down in the dark so I could work on putting the show together, and I fed her and I didn't know where she was, and then I saw her. She was actually behind the couch, which I've never even seen her out there doing her vertical scratching, and she looked at me and her eyes were like dilated and they flashed, they flashed the color like she was absolutely crazy. And I just thought, we just can't have anything nice. Like anytime soon, we can't have anything nice like this. This is so nice, Kathy. I'm a little bit jealous. But what beautiful vignettes you've got going, Lori. They are beautiful, aren't they? This is also one of Kathy's pieces, and this is the one I have to say I love the most. It's just such a beautiful historic looking piece. It's like it's a bit of a garden scene, but it's a nighttime scene with the back done in the dark, sort of antique black like this, and the full moon in the corner. There's a real caricature aspect to the figure of the woman, and I just love how these grape flowers or grapes are I'm not sure what they are, and it doesn't matter, but they are a grape color. It's just really unexpected. I really love this piece. This is one of my favorite pieces in the show tonight. It has that great early American look to it, and it's this is such a caricature. And the goose, of course, is a great touch too, but I just love those wispy purple flowers in with all of the big fat pumpkins that are as like stately and weighty as that giant cement urn, right? Just a beautiful piece. That's Kathy, and this is the last one from Kathy. Another beautiful figure, like the pumpkin head figure, carrying what looks like a turkey. Just another beautiful antique kind of a pattern, and a tiny bit of lamb's tongue in the top right hand corner that's kind of balancing out that thumbnail moon. It's a beautiful piece. I love the way the skirt is done too. You see how from the center it gets darker toward the interior. Lots of little devices happening here that are really unexpected, really different. Lots of really different choices, and very interesting to look at. So, never think that primitive is the same as boring, or that primitive is the same as simple. It's not. It's not, and it never will be. When you work in a primitive style, it is more simple. And remember that expression, simple is hard. So when you work in a primitive style and it's simple, you have to make tough decisions for things to be interesting, right? And to resonate. And some people are better at primitive style than others. And I think, as I say, Kathy is absolutely fantastic at the primitive style. Oh, Joan, this is a beautiful piece. Joan Duquette wrote, October is Halloween month, and the newest, so the newest digital pattern in my punch needle shop for miniature punch needle. So this is a mini punch pattern. Now I want to tell you, Joan Duquette's shop is an Etsy shop, and it's Etsy.com. It's called Kettle Valley Stitches. Kettle Valley Stitches. So this is Joan's newest pattern. I think she put it up this week. That you could use mini punch, Russian punch, right? So you're using like floss or like a thread like Valdani. And this is in her shop now, but this is the sort of prototype, and I think it's just beautiful. I think it was also very clever putting this piece very very seasonal, right? This is like the personification of like a Halloween Hallmark card right here. It's just perfect. It's got all of the elements that we really need to see. But I also love the way that she's mounted it on this what looks like a kind of hand painted black frame with some uh, faux finishing. It looks like almost like marbleizing style, but it's done in gold leaf as opposed to paint. And then a nice textile border. It is pretty gritty, isn't it? Are they her drawing? Lori, I'm not. I don't think so. I don't think so. I think that they. I have to say, I think that at least one of them was not Forgotten Farm, and I think that last one with the pumpkin woman head. I think that might be Michelle Palmer. I recognize them. I'm not sure, and I don't have the information sent to me, so I can't be sure. But I would bet that they are not Forgotten Farm and Michelle Palmer. I think they all are. That would be my guess. I'd be really surprised if they weren't. So this is a great piece. This is a great mini punch piece, and it's also a great inspiration for finishing something, because seeing things finished like this in a different way is just exciting, right? More ideas, and you can see that this piece is done with probably sock yarn. Maybe decay yarn, but there's quite a bit of color changing yarn in the ground with the browns in the sky and even in the moon. A lot of color change. So, and you can do this with mini punch. You just have to make sure that the tip of the mini punch is such that you are able to do that. This piece is by Louise Budd, and Louise said this was one of our first rugs, hooked to numbers 6 through number 8, cut. Right, so that's like almost 1/4 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch, using reclaimed wood that I over dyed, using wool. I'm sorry, wool. That makes more sense, doesn't it? Using over dyed wool. Now that is a great thing to do, particularly as a beginner. So one of your first rugs, Louise, and it really is a beautiful rug. It's a great pattern, great collection of pumpkins, great collection of stars, great collection of leaves, and anchored in the corner, right, by that moon. It's just really, really pretty.
I think everyone's first pattern should be River Rocks and Jam Sandwich.
Oh, you think so? She's saying she thinks everyone's first pattern should be River Rocks and Jam Sandwich, because those are, oh gosh, I can't remember who designed those patterns.
Anyways, I made a second one. This is, so they took off his head. These are the nice birds. These are the birds, and the crows that was in the other one, they were scared of the scarecrow. So these nice birds came and they replaced his head with a pumpkin, but they didn't know then the crows were going to eat it.
Oh gosh.
So, actually in my other one with the things, the birds that were scared in the corner, that was actually these nice ones, because they're like fixing him up and putting him as a pumpkin
Almost
instead.
like the mice in Cinderella.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and they're
like
also putting
helping.
faces on the pumpkins.
Aww. Oh, Joss, that really is cute. I really like this one, Joss, even more than Scorpion.
Yeah.
Also
I
like
like
Scorpion.
Scorpion.
Also like Scorpion.
I like Scorpion better because it's less detailed. But like with this one, so all the crows, they were really scared of the scarecrow, and these nice birds, the blue jays, they were like, they wanted to change that. So they ripped off the scarecrow's head. It's right here. They're like dropping it down, and they replaced it with one of their pumpkins.
That's a
But
really
then
nice
in
story.
the other one, sadly, all these birds right here, these are the nice blue jays. These, oh, it's upside down. These right here, these are the nice blue jays, and they're really sad because all the crows, they thought that they would be happy that it's not scary anymore, but now they're ripping apart the scarecrow.
Ooh.
Because it's not scary anymore, and now they want to kill it.
Dark undertones to this story, huh?
Yeah.
You know what I just remembered? Last year on this episode, you read all those Halloween poems. Do you remember that? You were all dressed up. And you remember you read a bunch of Halloween poems, and you did one of them as a rap.
I did a rap about the pumpkin.
Mm-hmm. That was so funny.
I really want to find that video.
Yeah,
Last
that
time
was
we
a
were
fun
here,
video. That
we
was,
talked
I think,
about
last
that video.
year.
No, that was definitely not yesterday.
Maybe the year before.
Like 3 years ago. I really want to find it and find me rapping the pumpkin.
All right, let me finish
song.
the show, hon. I'm
All
still
right.
working on a show.
I'm going to sit right here and watch.
There's a lot of participation tonight. We are getting near the holidays, so Really fun. Great drawing. It was a great drawing.
So you put that video on YouTube?
Oh yeah, that video's been on YouTube forever.
Do
Louise,
you remember what it was called?
no, something with the word Halloween in it. So Louise, this is a beautiful piece, and considering that this is one of your first pieces and that you did your own over dyeing, I think that is really, really a lot of fun. I know Dawn, she should write her stories down. She is a great storyteller. She's not big on reading and writing at this moment. She's good at it, but she's not.
Mom, I'm watching you.
Okay. Did you find it?
I found what you're currently doing.
Such a cutie. All right. Okay. Hang on. Wait a minute. I got something new. So this is this is Louise's current rug. So the one we were just looking at was one of her first rugs, and this is her current rug, and I think this is just gorgeous. This is still number 6 to number 8 cuts, just like the one I showed you in the last slide. And this is all wool fabric, so she's not done the over dyeing in this, but this is just another beautiful atmospheric piece. I have to say, you know, I don't usually go for compositions that have a lot of architecture, that being the main story. But this is an extreme exception because this is so, it's so different. You know, it has a little bit of a scary feel for me. Like it's a bit spooky. It's a bit Van Gogh. I see some swirling in the sky. It brings me there. Church reminds me of his dad. But there is something very different about this piece that doesn't remind me of anybody else. And I love it when that happens. The walkway is just fantastic. The sky is fantastic. Oh, my battery's running low. I'm not plugged in. Can I get some help with a plug? Like immediately? Okay, hang on everybody. We should be okay. But I'm not plugged in, so I don't know how that happened. Could definitely use a plug.
Yeah.
All right. Where's the plug?
Oh.
On the
Yeah.
floor. Okay, that's a good place for it.
There we
Excellent.
go.
Thank you. Whew, didn't need that. All right.
That's
My
the one?
favorite part of it is the windows of the church. And I'm loving how they go. Are you noticing from that like really deep orange? They look like little candy corn pieces to the really bright white. Very, very good. Very, very good. There's just enough realism in here for me, as I'm not a big one for realism. My personal taste, right? Who cares? But it really is realistic enough, but it feels like an illustration. Just really love this piece, Louise. You did a really, really good job. It's a great piece for this season, too. I saw Pauline McGowan was working on some great pieces on our Facebook group. Pauline does so many smaller pieces, right, like ornament-sized pieces, and she's got these ready for whipping at this moment. I am going to run over for sure tonight. So you can see the drawings on here are about to evolve into some really lovely small hooked pieces. Aren't they absolutely charming? Really fun. And I see Pauline doing a lot of this. I'm wondering if she's making ornaments, but they are each a little rug. You can see the way they're whipped at the edges in their own right. Every single one of them is really, was that what I think it was? Okay. Sorry about that. It was definitely the child. Jocelyn. But,
I can't find me rapping the pumpkin song.
okay. It doesn't matter because I'm really late. So, anyway, sorry about that. I'm very distracted now. The child is distracting me hugely. Beautiful, Pauline. These are really nice small pieces. I saw you were working on some a few months ago too. Very small pieces, and yeah, you are really pumping them out in great numbers. But each one is exquisite and very finely done. Very, very pretty. Even just looking at the white shading on that pumpkin, it's very thoughtful. The use of color, right? The whole thing is very thoughtful. Very, very pretty. And Cindy, you are working on a different piece now. Now let me see. What did you say? Making some progress on this needle. Hi, Mom. I commented. Okay, so I think that's Teddy downstairs.
That's me.
Okay, I was going to say, I feel like I'm under attack right now. Making some progress on this punch needle piece. Time is getting short to have it done by Halloween. Oh, Cindy, you're going to do it. As long as your hands are feeling okay. I know sometimes your hands are not feeling okay, but you're making good progress, and there will be another one next year. But I love what you're doing, and I think it's great. I think this is a great piece. I'm wondering, it looks like you undid some swirls in the background, which can happen, and why not? I love the curl of the hat. I love the face of the jack-o'-lantern and the gold buckle. I love the texture of the moon. Do you see that? It's almost that like fuzzy washcloth, like dishcloth, right? Yarn. Doesn't it look like that to you? It's a great piece, and it is getting close to Halloween, Cindy. But you know, you can work on it right after Halloween too. I would say you could work on it right through until it's Thanksgiving, right? And you will certainly get it done. Joss is kicking off mischief night early. That's for sure. It's not mischief night until what, Monday? Yeah, those little pieces have so much detail. They're just exquisite. Joyce, you put a beautiful piece in here for tonight too. This is your latest piece from Teresa Schick, and she is on Etsy too. Her shop is called the Woolen Gardener, and that's wool apostrophe N, like woolen, no E, Gardener on Etsy. And Joyce, this piece is just so pretty. This is part of the Village Tile series, Harvest Moon something. I can't read it because it was a little bit cut off, but this is just absolutely beautiful. And this is that big giant moon that we've been talking about, isn't it? You just love seeing it. Is it real? Is it real? But it's so pretty. I love that kind of candy corn door again. It's very welcoming on the inside. The white pumpkin popping up, that little white spray of smoke coming out of the chimney. I'm curious to see what kind of time of day we've got here. It might be that it's a little bit later in the day. It looks like the ground is quite dark. It's an exciting piece. You are outlining in both dark colors in some places and white in other places, and I think that's very smart. I love me a good salt box. This is a great salt box with that great dramatic dip on the back of the roof, right? It just goes sloping way down. Such a beautiful piece. I can't wait to see, no matter what season it is, or just make sure you show it. This is a great fall piece in general, right? This is great. I can't wait to see it, no pressure, in the next coffee time or cocktail time, because I'm really wondering how you're going to fill in, if you're going to do any orange pumpkins, what you're going to do with the sky, what you're going to do with the moon, if you're planning on balancing that white pumpkin with the white moon. I'm so curious to see what you do. You always do such gorgeous, gorgeous things. Absolutely beautiful, Joyce. And oh, this piece is from Linda Arndt. So Linda, I'll show you Linda in a second. Linda sent, Ryan, I just want to be sure your piece is here. I'm starting to get nervous. Ryan, where is your piece? Hang on. I have Ryan's piece in here because I put it in here. Hang on, Ryan. I'm getting nervous here. You know how I do this. I used it as the thumbnail. Please don't tell me that I didn't put it into the body of the thing as well. Oh, boy. All right. We're going to cross that bridge in a second. Ryan, I have a feeling that I used the image for the thumbnail and I forgot to slide the slide also, because I have to do it twice, into the body of it. So let's worry about that in just a minute. That's super frustrating. Joss, do you have my phone? I'm going to need that in a minute. Linda Arndt took a class with me in person. She was traveling. I forget where she was from. She's from quite a ways away. But what did she write? Let me see. She wrote me a nice message and said, I finished the pumpkin I started in your class at Madison Mall, and I love it. I made strips for the eyes using a mylar balloon. We talked about that a little bit in class, and I think it's a really, really good idea. You see that in the eyeball sockets? That is a cut-up balloon, like cut up with scissors. Doesn't that hook beautifully? It's so metallic and crazy. It's just perfect for this piece, so that they would sparkle. But you can't really see that in the photo. You can see it a little bit in the photo, but since we know what it is, I can fully appreciate the effect that gives. And Linda said, I have a question for you. Because I used pantyhose and mylar in this piece, should I still steam it? Does steaming it make that much difference? Is it very necessary? I really enjoyed your class. Linda, I really enjoyed spending time with you. And, you know, I'm going to say other people will feel different ways, but particularly with small pieces like this, I don't feel like it's essential at all. I feel like if I was doing a rug or a very large piece for the wall, like a tapestry sized piece, I would be much more inclined to steam it just to get that evenness and to mellow out the loops a little bit. But with small pieces like this, honestly, I really don't think it matters one way or the other. And certainly once that mylar is in there, you can't get an iron anywhere near there. You could cover it very carefully, but you still might be in trouble with the mylar. That's really, there's not many things that really will cause trouble, but obviously metal is one of them. But it's such a beautiful piece, and no, you do not need to block it. It's a small piece, and it's absolutely perfect the way it is. I love the rainbow cheeks. I love the teeth, the smile. You did such a great job with the background, with the stump, the inspiration for the eyes. That was really smart. The upside down nose, it looks like you hooked maybe with, looks like a different material. It could be, oh, that's the pantyhose, isn't it? I think that's the pantyhose, because all of those kits, I had a bunch of pantyhose in them too. It looks like a different material. And in some of the rainbow stripes too. I think that's the pantyhose. Very, very well done. Linda was great. She was there taking the class with her daughter, who's been there before with me too. And there's Linda. And she was visiting, and, and she'd written ahead of time to say, will the patterns be on burlap? Because her memory of rug hooking from before, because she hadn't rug hooked for quite a while, was that you hook on burlap and it's itchy, scratchy, and uncomfortable, and she didn't like it. And I wrote back and said, no, we are not hooking on burlap. We're going to be hooking on monk's cloth in this case, because with this class you could either punch or hook. So we had to have something that would be good for both. So she took the class, and she was very happy. And it was, and it just reminded me of the fact that when, Linda, you look so pretty in this picture. You're so pretty in real life too. It just reminded me of the fact that, when you take a class, no matter what it is, and you, something happens like burlap or what, I still like working on burlap personally, but, some little thing can go wrong, and then your only memory, your only takeaway from that class is that you didn't like it because of something. And for me, whenever I'm teaching, this is the main thing that I try to combat. It's like, particularly if people have taken rug hooking before or rug making before, I try to reverse all of those the things that came before that I have nothing to do with. And the only thing I can do is to try to reverse bad experiences that have already happened, like teachers that pull your work out, materials that haven't worked. There's so many things. There's so many things. That's why this is such a small craft at this point. But Ryan, I'm freaking out because I'm realizing that I put it as the thumbnail and I forgot to put it. Give me the phone, Joss. I have to hold on. I'm sorry. You can. Oh, she's actually watching one of the old videos.
Oh no, I'm trying to look for me wrapping.
You coot. You so coot.
So I'm looking at all.
Hold on just a second. This isn't the same, Ryan, but I know that you've seen this image. I want to show you Ryan's image. It was the image from last year. I used it as a thumbnail because it is still one of my favorite pieces of all time. I absolutely love it. That's why I was asking you about your Etsy store, because I was wondering if it was for sale. But of course it's not, because it's one of your original pieces, and it's absolutely fantastic. Let me see if I can just quickly pull up. Hold on. Don't you get in the mix again, you little thing. Let me see if I can pull up.
I said, "Hi, Mom, I commented."
Yes, everything is funny tonight. That's for sure. All right, hang on.
Remember the beginning? Everyone walked in with the costume, including
that was funny.
and Gammy.
You all surprised me, you little monkeys. Hang on one second. Let me see if I can do this. I really want to show this because Ryan sent a beautiful piece. It was your pumpkin, and you used the wool that you dyed from that mason jar dyeing class. And I know I can do that. I get myself nervous when I start looking for stuff. Sorry, I'm going to upset your videos. Okay, videos. Let's look at the most. Just rein it in. All right, live. There we go. There it is. All right, let me see if I can pull this up better. Oh, just figure out. You figure this out. You know how to use the computer. How can I pull that image up? You know what? I thought of something better. Hold on one second. Here, do you want to entertain for 1 minute, born entertainer? Do you want to talk for just 1 minute, and then I've got a couple more.
So today I woke up and I decided I want to be a shark.
Okay, I'll make this fast. I didn't know where we were going with that. Hold on. There we go. I'm going to use it right here. Thanks, Joss. So, Ryan, I'm so sorry about that. I'm such an idiot sometimes. It is the thumbnail for tonight. So it is like the featured piece for tonight. This is Ryan's piece, right? Ryan LeBeau, he's on with us. This is one of my favorite pieces of all time. I love this piece. The jack-o'-lantern face, the expression, the little houses in the background, right? The candy floating, the star, the broom. It's all super charming. And Ryan, this is the yarn from your mason jar, right? I'm guessing it's the oranges and all those bright colors. Maybe the broomstick, maybe even the background, because That kit had purple in it. Maybe the ground in the background also. Ryan says, loving the several white pumpkins on tonight's show. I know, really different. And so let me see what Ryan, here, take this back.
Thanks. I'm going to keep looking for me wrapping the pumpkin.
Yeah, Ryan said, hi, Gianna and everyone. Here's the Halloween rug I made last year using hand-dyed wool and acrylic yarn. I forgot what I named it. God.
I forgot what you named it. I don't know either.
Yeah. I won't spend too much time because I know I'm taking forever tonight. Gosh, I feel like I just know that, permanently know that, but I can't pull it up. Secondly, here is a long runner style. So I saved that one, Ryan, just because I had all Halloween for tonight. So I saved the runners that you were doing, right, in your new style. Don't think I forgot or I cut them. I'm just saving them for the next show, because I was only putting the Halloween in. So those are going to be on the top of the next gallery night, which will be in 3 weeks. And you're going to, so I'm going to save this text too. Sorry about that. But I did use your piece as the thumbnail because I love it that much. I really love that piece. It's a fantastic piece. And now it's there for all of eternity as the main piece. But I'm sorry about that. I screwed that up pretty good, didn't I? Kirsten, you finished Picasso pumpkin. And we have watched the evolution of this. And the evolution of this has been absolutely great. And oh, Ryan, we all love you. We love your work. Picasso, like Picasso, but pause because it's a cat composition. And we've seen Kirsten working on this, and man, you killed it. You hit it out of the park. Oh, I'm so jealous. I love this piece so much that I am crazed. I am permanently crazed. I feel like I have permanent brain damage because this is yours and it's not mine. I don't mean that you made it. I mean that you have it. I want it. No. I love it. I love it, love it. I love it. I love the color. I love the cat paws. I love what you did with the breakdown of the features. And I really love how you use that scarf from the advent calendar in the background. I used it for Teddy's pistachio pumpkin. You used it for this piece. I just love the way it looks like flame. It's so autumny and so great. The technique with this piece was that you just cut up a scarf that came in the advent calendar and you hooked with it. Right, so we weren't talking about transferring with it onto wool or anything like that. It's just a cut up scarf, right? And I can see where because you told me you ran out, right? That's the only reason I can see where you ran out of the scarf. Here and there, the scarf did pretty good duty. It went a long way because you also used the yellow border on the scarf as one of the cat's paws. I'm just realizing that. Absolutely brilliant that you outlined that with that light pink because it's not distracting, but it does really help define that shape. But I can see there are little, very small areas where you plugged in some yarn of a similar color where you ran out of the scarf. And I have to say, I think that actually helps the piece forward. I really do. And I can see how around the top of the pumpkin, you used one of the novelty materials that was in the advent calendar, one of those crazy black eyelash yarns. There was lots of crazy yarns in that set. And I do have more videos to do still. Don't think I forgot. I just haven't had time to breathe or do anything. But those are coming. Those are definitely forthcoming. Kirsten, this is absolute. Oh, you didn't run out. You added wool, fabric, yarn, and silk. Totally plain. Okay, that is amazing. That is it. Well, I feel great about that because I hate it when people run out of stuff just in case it like shakes you. I should have known that that didn't shake you or wouldn't have shook you and it didn't even occur. So that's really good to know. It does add a lot to the composition to see those little nubby blips of like the really thick roving type yarn. Really, really helps. Oh my gosh, good, because it was an enormous scarf. Enormous. That's why I chose it, was because they were huge and we all got them in that calendar. So it was just a fun project. We always think about using silk scarves and neckties for dyeing, and we hardly ever see anybody hooking with them. And this is what happens when you hook with them. You end up with a really great piece. Marty, they are beautiful pieces, aren't they? Nice side view of Kirsten's Picasso cat. Oh, I see. You even I think you have some of the mixed fibers mixed in here and there too, or it could just be the edges of the scarf. I can see what you mean now. I'm seeing some real butterscotch colors and cognac colors coming right through. Oh, you too, Ryan. And I love your piece. I'm so sorry I forgot to drop it in. Oh, I'll feature it somewhere else, I promise. It's one of my all-time faves. This is one of my all-time faves too. I think I had one more that I pulled from the email because you can see in this one, the sort of cross section of it, or the relief of it, where you're seeing some of the other novelty fabric sticking out, and it really helps. It adds to the whimsy and the character and the fun of this piece. This piece is an incredible amount of fun. So I just wanted to say, okay, before I do that, hang on, let's come back here. We're going to stick with that thought, but hang on one second. Kirsten wrote, here are the most recent and latest finished photos of Picasso pumpkin. This was based on the Picasso pattern included with the autumn advent calendar. It may look different for you because I think you punched it, which I did, but it is a direct reuse of the original pattern. Oh, no way. Oh, I see, because it's reversed. I see what you mean. Oh, that's interesting. Totally thought it was different. And just redrawn as a cat. Amazing. The primary driver of the color palette is the various bits and bobs from the autumn advent calendar as well. I noticed that I ended up using the approach you use, the scarf for Teddy's pumpkin pattern on this one. And I think it fits so, I would have never done this because I would have been looking at the pumpkin that I hooked. You're so good at fusing colors together. That's your greatest innate talent, is fusing colors that don't go together and putting them together, and suddenly they do go together, and it's like rewriting the color wheel. But I would have been really hung up on candy colors and stuff like that. That's cute, Jess. As the background. But I really love that you completely went for a different color palette, right? The scarf was very autumnal and a very different texture. It was a very high luster scarf. Thin scarf, like a fashion scarf, right? It was like polyester, thin, high luster scarf. So it's the opposite of what I would have done, and it just goes to show it made an incredibly striking piece. Cutting up the polyester scarf pushed me pretty far out of my comfort zone, both in color and material. Like Teddy's pumpkin, I used it in the background, but added a lot of red to it with items from my stash. Okay, you did, didn't you? So a lot of those reds, I see what you mean. Yeah, this is what you do with the fusing of colors. I see what you mean. It really created a real glow. It has a firelight look to it, doesn't it? It's incredibly seasonal. From your stash, I'm a little bit in love with it at this moment. Me too. I'm a little bit covetous of it at this moment. Now, it is interesting, Gretty, isn't it? There's so many different things that you can use. Gretty says, I keep seeing a little old lady with a chin lip and nose on the left side across from the paw. Is it just me? Yeah, no, I see that too. I almost see the paw on the right like hiding a smile with some wrinkle lines. It's going to do all kinds of things because nothing is in the right place, right? That's the whole joke of this pumpkin. It's such a fun piece, Kirsten. I love this piece. So Kirsten is working on a new project, and it's an exciting project. And I'm going to read directly from your email because I'm no good at paraphrasing stuff like this that have to do with stuff on the computer, right? This is a straightforward thought. Fall cards is the new for Halloween fall-themed greeting cards in my new shop, SKG, right? Art, SKGART on Printify. And so on Printify, Kirsten is using some of the image that you have seen from her shop on Ribbon Candy Hooking, right? From her tab on Ribbon Candy Hooking. Some of the designs that she's done that people have been rug hooking are now available as greeting cards, and more to come. So Day of the Dead, this is the one on the right. I think this is the next one. Day of the Dead is a drawing of a Day of the Dead doll I brought back from Mexico in 1992. The original drawing was 2021 or 22, transformed into a rug hooking pattern, which is available on Ribbon Candy Hooking, but it's now available also as a greeting card. So these are in the Printify shop, SKGART Printify. That's what you need to know. You're going to see a bunch of patterns that you probably recognize available as seasonal cards, right? Note cards, snail mail cards. And Kirsten writes as a greeting card, I would never have thought to turn a doll into a rug hooking pattern without your YouTube on Las Rancheritas. That's right. I remember that episode on the group of rug hookers that are in Mexico City. Yeah, that was a good episode. I was interviewing someone on that episode, which brought back a lot of great memories and the idea. Oh, that's fantastic. And Simba, let's look at Simba. Simba on a pumpkin. Maybe you recognize this, right? That's the pattern of Simba down at the bottom. Simba on a pumpkin has also been turned into a drawing, both a rug hooking pattern and a greeting card. So this is something that Kirsten's been working on lately, and I think this is a really great idea with the holidays coming up as well. Just a lot of fun to see these things in a different form, right? Because I know a lot of people really enjoy their rug hooking projects and their Ryan, did Ryan log off already? See, this is why I hate myself, Joss. Look at the screen.
What? Oh my, Mom!
I know. I know.
I'm so sad.
I should have had a V8.
I'm so sad I couldn't find me rapping the pumpkin song.
Okay, we'll talk about that later. Hold on that. Anyway, I'm sorry. So Kirsten's been working on these cards, and they really are fantastic for this season. And it's a watch this spot kind of a thing, because a lot of her patterns, she is putting into card form as well. It's just another product to think about. There's only so many things that you can hook and work on at one time, and only so many things you can do with the stuff that you make. But this is just a variation on her patterns, which are always stellar. Just phenomenal designs, and just a new way to enjoy them and have them and to share them. So be looking at SKGART on Printify, and you will see a lot of the designs that you've already seen in the Ribbon Candy Hooking Store, and they are still available as rug hooking patterns. So be sure that you look at those as well. It looks like, Dawn says it looks like it's sitting on leaves. Oh, it does a little bit. In the drawn pattern, yeah, with the moon fluttering, the stars, and then the moon in the background look like leaves fluttering. Really good designs, right? Make sure you check that out. That's a fun extension, right, of the brand. I think Ryan already logged off. He's probably just had it with me doing stupid stuff. I'm gonna have to send him an email. Here it is right here. I just don't trust myself enough, I guess. But this is our thumbnail image for today's show. This is Ryan LeBeau's piece that he was talking about, having dyed the yarn for it. I can see lots of shades. That mason jar was mostly oranges, yellows, and purples. So I can see how that would be the basis for this piece. And this and the Funhouse piece are my two favorite pieces that Ryan's ever done so far to date. I just love these pieces, and I can't imagine loving anything else more. I'll send him a little note at the end of the show to tell him it is in there, and it's so pretty. We can see it at a normal size right now. Very, very festive piece. Ryan is a puncher, and remember, he's been experimenting with hooking more lately, but he continues to prefer punching. And yeah, whatever works, right? If it ain't broke. But it's good to try both, just so you have expertise in feet in both camps, right? Why not? But what a beautiful piece. I just absolutely loved it last year when he made it, and I'm loving it this year. And it's kind of sad to say, but now that was the gallery episode for 2023. Gosh, maybe next year we need more than one for holidays like Halloween.
Only one gallery episode a year?
Oh no, there's only one Halloween gallery episode a year. But I feel the same way. It goes by fast, and I bet that there are hundreds more really beautiful Halloween pieces that are out there that I would love to look at with you. It all goes by fast. We'll have another autumn gallery night. That's something that we definitely can do in November. Oh my God, it's almost November. Joss, it's almost November.
It's almost November?
It's almost November. It's like the telephone game. It's almost November. It is. It is. Whew. Wednesday's November. Holy molies. Well, happy Halloween to everybody. But in the meantime, I will be with you. If you are taking the class tomorrow night, design like the tarot card / playing card. Tarot cards and playing cards share the same origins. They both started as games, card games. Nothing to do with divining and mysticism, just card games. We are running that live class again tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It was a lot of fun, a lot of information, a lot of history, a lot of storytelling, just a lot of fun. That's happening tomorrow night. And then the following night is Mischief Night. That's Monday, and I'll be on with you live for the live Fluffy Pumpkin Hookin'. Again, Monday. That is 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then Tuesday is Halloween, so I won't be with you on Halloween. I don't think I'll run a live show on Monday during the day because I'm going to be live for, I'm guessing, 4 hours in the evening. And I still have a lot of stuff to do, costumes and stuff like that. And I have a lot of orders to put out. So I better be thinking about what's right in front of me. And so my live time with you on Monday will be in the evening for the live hook along. And that will be a long stint. And then I'll be back with you for a more traditional show on Wednesday at noon Eastern Standard Time. So we have those things to look forward to in the near future.
Wait, before you end it, can I show my design I just made?
Yes, you can show one more design that you just made. And everyone's saying Happy Halloween, so I'll say happy. You gotta hurry up though, hon.
All right.
I'll say Happy Halloween back. Yeah, I can't. I don't want to accept that it's almost time. I don't want to give up any of the holiday times yet. You did something on the phone. She's been working a lot. Make sure it's in focus. Oh, that's nice, Joss. Did you just draw that with your finger?
Mm-hmm.
Huh. That's really nice, Joss.
And there's some acorns.
Oh, thanks, Kirsten. And a huge thank you to Patreon supporters. You will be, sometime next week, I'll be sending out another Patreon message with some more patterns and more news and all of that stuff. There's some big, exciting things coming up in November, December. So I'm going to catch up. For those of you who ordered the die class, that's shipping on Monday. I was waiting a little while longer than usual for the yarn, and unfortunately the wrong yarn came. Accidents can happen. So all of that's ready, and that's going to ship on Monday. And I'll start recording the class too, because it's going to be a long class. That's going to be a lot of fun, and that's going to be all recorded. So that's there for you. But there's a few new products coming out in the very near future that I think will be very exciting for the holidays. Just checking it out. Make sure it's focused if you're going to show it. You make people seasick. You know what that reminds me of?
What?
The pumpkin patch today, and how we bought some of the stumps for me to make into rug hooked pumpkins for next year, and then how we were little pigs and we were walking around the cornfields and we saw a bunch of stumps that people were just standing on, and maybe it was criminal, but we picked those up and added those to our bag. Because, I mean, they weren't for sale. They were on the ground and people were walking on them and they were about to get trashed.
I'm adding Fluffy.
But that was a lot of fun. You're going to add Fluffy the cat?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's got to be fast. Oh, you're doing it in the same style that I do, Fluffy. You are something else, you little something something. Oh man, she's good. He's just going to be the star. Oh, I see.
He bit through.
Oh,
Actually,
no way. Let me show it.
Actually, no, I don't like him in that
Oh,
spot.
come on. He was so cute.
Sorry.
Put him back. Put him back. Let me just show him. It's just the idea. So she did the composition she was just showing with the pumpkins, and then she said Fluffy bit through, and she's got Fluffy right here breaking through the pumpkin, and you see the two little eyes with the nose and the little lip and the line coming down, the little Maud Lewis Fluffy face right there. That's so cute, Joss. Say Happy Halloween and we gotta go. Everybody's tired. Everybody's growing roots in the floor. Happy Halloween, everybody.
Once this is done, can you hook it?
We will see you done. Once it's done, I will hook it. We will see you soon. Have a great Halloween, everybody. Take care.